Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second innings of the Blaze versus South East Stars here at Welbeck Cricket Club. Welbeck Colliery Cricket Club, in fact, at the John Thetwell Centre here. And we will have a chase 160, no adjustments, despite the fact that it will be a chase of in 49 overs rather than 50, as we would usually have in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy. Beth Harmer will be back with us shortly to pick up the microphone next to myself, Mike Perkins. But 160 will be the chase. The main score of the first innings of the game was Teresa Graves, who made an excellent 56 before being caught by Freya Davis off the bowling of Alice Davidson Richards. So that is the situation. The two batters are in the middle, with Chatley opening up for the South East Stars. And the first ball of the innings is through outside the off stump from Nadine de Klerk, who took the best figures of the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy of any of the editions, taking 7 wickets for 33, bowled 9.1 overs that day, including 3 maidens, and went past the 2 sixers that Alex Hartley had taken in previous editions of the competition. The only bowler then ever to take 7 wickets is Nadine de Klerk, and she had an early chance dropped at backward point by Marie Kelly. It went quick on the cut. It was a full-blooded cut from Chatley. It was low to Kelly, but it was straight at her. And I think Beth Harmer rejoined us that they're the sort of catches that Marie Kelly backs herself to take.
Yeah, I think that was a very difficult chance, but she got there. She made the ground to get there, so I think she will be a little bit disappointed in that, but was hit very hard.
Yeah, she would have expected to have managed to grab that one as the second ball of the innings goes through to the safe pair of gloves of Sarah Bryce. Boyce is at slip. We've got a gully as well. So Nadine de Klerk really, did she come in? Was she immediately the leader of the attack? Did you immediately get that sense from her when she was around the group?
She's quite a quiet person.
Right, okay.
But she's really come out of her shell the last few weeks.
Because you look at her charging in there, and she looks anything but quiet as she bowls on off stump, and this is played into the offside. She's got ginger hair. She's obviously wearing that orange blaze top, and she's charging in, bowling full gas here. So she looks anything but quiet, I have to say.
It's quite funny. We all kind of thought she was 25, 26, quite a lot of experience on her, but I think she's only 22, 23, and, she's come in, had a brilliant game at Diamonds Away.
Sprinting in once more, right arm over. You could appreciably see the movement away from the bat of Chatley, who was sort of stuck on the crease and just prodded it into the offside. Kirk picked up in the gully on that occasion. No runs yet in this reply. All dot balls so far. It is 0 for 0. The chase 160. What's the feeling about the total then, Beth Harmer? I think the hot spot just gave up on us before the last wicket of the innings, which was Grace Ballinger's, as that one's cut away off the back foot into the offside. There's no run. It was slightly short of length. Yeah, so Ballinger caught by Blinkhorn-Jones off the bowling of Davidson Richards, who came on and bowled very well at the back end of the innings, picking up 24 for 2. What was the feeling about the total? Because that was probably the bit that we just lost at the back end of the first innings stream there.
Yeah, I think we were saying it's obviously something to bowl at. 150 is obviously still a score on the board, so I think we obviously, the game already starting, I think we would have looked to get probably at least 200, 240.
Yeah.
But obviously it was tough up top for the top order batters. So I think if we can bowl our good lines here and good lengths, take a few wickets in the power play, I think that'll be a really good start for us.
There's life in this pitch, isn't there? And that's the sort of thing that you would expect Grace Ballinger, who's picked up the ball, to lead the attack from the other end. And I think maybe slightly a different character, I guess, to Nadine de Klerk, who sort of, if Nadine de Klerk's a little bit shy and retiring off the pitch, I guess Grace Ballinger, I think she's a bundle of energy, and she's going to try and use that energy now. She sort of kicks up her feet on her way in and delivers that kind of real slingshotty arm that comes over. Left arm bowler, it was short of a length, defended into the offside, no run. I guess she's a very different character, Grace Ballinger.
Yeah, she is. She's the one that makes all the team laugh and have a giggle. But one thing they do show is that they want to be the person to take wickets, and I think that's exactly what you need in the power play to get your team off to a really good start.
Yeah, it's that desire to take wickets, isn't it? As Ballinger bowls, full of length, inside. Well, it wasn't really inside. It was actually full face of the bat, but it sort of twiddled in the batter's
Yeah,
hands and took the pace out of it, really, as it went up to mid-on to Kelly, who was there with the fielding, no run.
yeah. Grace has opted for a deep third and quite a backward square leg. No slip in at the minute, but 2 mid wickets in.
So that sort of gives her the option, the bouncer, I guess, if she wants it, as in she comes. But she generally tries to bowl like that, full and straight and swinging back in towards the stumps. That one just evaded the outside edge in the end. But again, we saw that. I don't know if it's the hardness of the ball. I don't know if it's the seam, but we saw it early on in the Blaze innings. There was a little bit of jump off the surface, and that one jumped through into the gloves of
it's that length that just kicks on a little bit that the batter's probably not expecting. So that's the length we probably need to be aiming for.
Here comes Ballinger again, bowling in towards the stumps, nipping back that one. It's played from the crease into the offside, and Heyhoe was there with the fielding, and no run was scored again. No runs so far at all in the Southeast Stars reply. And I guess when you're chasing a lowish total of 160, you kind of want to get off to a good start and get ahead of it fairly early on, although that could still happen, of course, even with these dot balls to begin with. Here comes Ballinger, bowling from the spine cop end of the ground, and it's pulled away, and this will be the first runs, 4 of them into the leg side, lifted really by Stonehouse, who's opened the batting for Southeast Stars with Chatley, and she got full value for that one, really.
Yeah, just a bit too short there from Grace. Often, as soon as Grace drops it a little bit shorter, the swing goes quite quickly. So she'll be looking just to get a little bit fuller and allow the ball to do the talking, I guess.
In runs the 21-year-old once again, Grace Ballinger. Took a 5 for last season in this competition, as that one again nips back from a better length, a fuller length. It's defended. The bowler picks up in the follow throw, and there is no run to finish the over. 4 without loss then. The chase 160, remember. So 160 to win this game for the Southeast Stars in their reply. Had quite a good Charlotte Edwards Cup, did Grace Ballinger, I thought. She was sort of always a threat. Saw her took wickets against Thunder, 2 for 23. I think that was at Old Trafford, 2 for 24 against the Storm. Picked up another couple here and there, sort of against Stars. She got one. Against Sunrisers, she got one. I thought she had a really good competition, Beth.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Get more thoughts on that after this ball from the Clerk, which is hit away, this time on the ground, unlike in the previous over where it was hit in the air to Kelly, but Kelly couldn't hang on. 4 without loss, it remains.
Yeah, I think Grace has particularly worked quite hard over winter, getting a few more yards, but she's still maintaining that swing, which is excellent. And she's bowled excellently at the start of the match, not going for many runs at all. Her and Dean have a very good opening partnership with the ball.
Here's de Klerk, right arm over. Chatley prods really as she tries to go forward and sends it down the onside of the pitch. The bowler fields the ball, and as a result, there is no score there. The voice alongside myself, Mike Perkins, here is Beth Harmer, who's part of the Blaze squad, not obviously playing today, but involved week in, week out. We often, as sort of when I'm speaking to other journalists about the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy and the Charlotte Edwards Cup, we're amazed at the progress and just what a difference professionalism is making. As Nadine de Klerk bowls, that one's hit into the pitch hard and wide mid-off, which allows a single to be scampered. 5 for none off 2. The score, but one onto the total there of Charlie. We're always amazed at how much progress has been made in such a short period of time. I guess the players are the ones who are in the best position to gauge it. But does it amaze you what a difference professionalism has made?
Yeah, definitely. I think even from just having the internationals over, they have.
Here's de Klerk, who is one of those internationals, bowling to Stonehouse, prodded into the leg side, no run.
Yeah, little habits that we've kind of click onto. It just made it click, and I think, from last year, if we're in a position where we're looking like we're going to lose the match, probably most often than not, last year we were going to lose. But I think this year, getting into the habit of winning, we're finding ourselves in not great positions on the pitch, but finding a way out of it. And
Yeah.
it's the players that aren't the internationals that are getting us out of that this year.
Here's de Klerk bowling just outside the off stump, prodded into the offside, and much like the previous ball, it just sort of rolled away on the square, and there was no opportunity to score.
Yeah, the likes of like Teresa today scoring 50, Michaela Kirk last few games 40s, Sophie Monroe 40s. It's really good to see those players that haven't really had that many opportunities before because of the internationals playing so well. It's having a great effect. It's just brings a lot of confidence into the team, and it's clearly proving good for us.
5 without loss as Stonehouse faces up, and it will remain on that score as she pushes up to mid-off in a relatively defensive fashion in the end. That's the end of the over. The end of the third over. 5 without loss then is the score in this reply. 160, remember, is the target for South East Stars to achieve victory in this game. The sun is out, you'll be glad to know, at Welbeck, because it did cause us a rather precarious scamper into this gazebo. We were originally in the gazebo, then we were out of the gazebo, and now we're back in the gazebo. And I think we are, despite maybe the odd creaky sound in the background, I think we're in the right place here.
Definitely, yeah.
But people will be able to see those blue skies out behind us, Beth. It's looking okay. Hello to everyone at home, and good to have you with us. We've got around about 100 of you have joined the stream for the second half of this game. 7 of you already hitting the thumbs up button, so thank you for that. As I say, it's a bit of a radio experience, really. This because obviously we haven't been able to quite sync up the cameras with Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff. I won't bore you with that as Ballinger bowls into the body of Chatley, and there is no run there. But it's great to have you with us. As I say, it's great to sort of be centre stage today, really, with this being the only game of cricket being played in England today. Obviously, a fantastic Ashes summer we're having. I mean, where were you for yesterday's game? Were you? Because I was producing a radio show that had commentary from Wimbledon, but I made a special request to get it on the little screen next to me, the cricket, because we were also covering that as in comes Ballinger to bowl, left arm over the wicket. It swung back to the stumps late and was played by Chatley into the offside. Kirk there with the fielding, no run. Where were you yesterday?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I watched the back end of the game, but I was actually playing club cricket.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but managed to get the back end. It's obviously great to see Nat, Tammy, and Glennie doing really well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Nat was bang in the middle of that, wasn't she?
Was.
There at the end of the final balls. Another butterfly flutters past us. Lots of those here at Welbeck today as Chatley attempts to work into the leg side. Can't find a run. 5 without loss. The score remains. We're in the fourth over, which has been bowled by Ballinger. Yeah, I mean, she's been in those situations a few times now, hasn't she? I remember there was one where she'd sort of been hitting sixes and kind of, I think, maybe went for a 4 off the final ball and didn't quite get it. And then it just seems she's getting so close, and you just like to see her win another Ashes before that fantastic career ends. This one was clapped away into the offside. There is no run to backward point. Kirk there with the fielding again, 5 without loss. And yeah, it just feels like it'd be just reward really for Nat Siver, who, as you say, is part of the Blaze now.
Yeah, it was a brilliant knock from her yesterday. Yeah, just a shame. Shame we couldn't restrict them in the first innings to a bit lower total than that, but a great fight.
Now, this is interesting. The helmet's come out. I thought it was going to be really interesting. It was going to be given to Hyam to go in at short leg or something, but it's actually been given to the wicketkeeper Bryce, who's going to come and stand up to the stumps. I mean, it would be brave to have a short leg in a one-day game like this, but yeah, we've got the keeper up to the stumps, which is a good tactic nonetheless. I mean, I've seen a lot of Threlkeld keeping up to the stumps this season as that one nips back and there's no run on offer. Keeping up to the stumps and took a brilliant stumping of Amy Campbell, I think it was, against Sparks, where the bouncer was bowled and she still managed to take the ball cleanly. And then Amy Jones did it in the international a couple of days later. I mean, it was whatever you can do, I can do better. It was we've seen quite some wicket keeping this summer, and Sarah Bryce is one of the best as well. As this one pops up, there was a little bit of alarm as it actually Bryce couldn't quite take it cleanly, because we mentioned it just seems to be skip and jump on the pitch.
Definitely. I think so Chatley's just trying to avoid that back extra bit of pop there is. I know the ball before Sarah came up to the stumps, she moved out of her crease a bit, so I know Sarah would have come up just to avoid that, to avoid any movement in the crease, just to make it harder for her.
And I see it every game day. The first person out on the ground is always Sarah Bryce with the gloves, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
just put into perspective for people who don't know better, just how hard your teammate Sarah Bryce works.
Yeah, she's one of the most hardworking girls I know. She's academically talented as well.
Right.
I think she did an integrated masters.
As you do.
As you do, maths.
This is de Klerk bowling to Stonehouse. He drove neatly, and de Klerk, such a fierce competitor and doesn't want to concede, runs through herself across the pitch to dive one-handed and stop anything scored.
Yeah, so obviously on a game day you'll have just a batter or a bowler will just bowl a few overs, get yourself loose, and obviously if you're batting you'll have a few hits, but Sarah obviously keeps as well, so she's making sure she gets here early with Sai Guy.
Clouding over slightly as de Klerk comes into bowl again. Stonehouse down the ground through a vacant mid-on area, really, and away it goes for 4 runs. If that was the area you're going to go over the top, it may as well be through mid-on because it was not guarded, and it's 4 more to the total. Stonehouse will be feeling much better after that. It's 9 without loss. Stars kind of have the luxury here of one trying to stay in and around cloud over and rain, but also have just been able to keep wickets in hand here, as this one is bowled to Stonehouse on the pads, and she flicks it leg side. Single to the total, 10 without loss. Stonehouse has the boundaries. She's on to 9.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of no risks are really needed in this. Like you said, Stonehouse just picked it off, hitting straight down the ground where we've got no mid on. So,
and I suppose the reason for no mid on is you've got gully, you've got slip here, you've got short cover. But that's very much the plan. Clerk, who, as I say, took 7 for against Northern Diamonds earlier in the season, picked up here by Kelly, one-handed coming in from point. No run on offer again. It was a prod by Chatley, who's really not got going here. She's on 1.
I think it's really important when you've got a low total to really be aggressive in the power play. I think it's one of the hardest times to bat, as we've proved this morning. So,
and is the onus on the opening pair to do that then, as Chatley pushes into the leg side, but again won't be able to score. 9 without loss, because this pair to me look like they're very much trying to just keep the wickets for the first few overs, and then might go hard in the second half. But is the onus on sort of the front 2 to go hard, and then if they get out, the others come in and kind of rebuild?
Yeah, I guess they've got their own strategy of going at it. I think if I was batting right now, it'd be a case of defend the good one.
Here's de Klerk, who does bowl a good one. It's tries to score if it does Chatley, pushing into the leg side, but only finds the fielder at I would say a straight mid-wicket more than a wide mid-on Graves there. Prevents the run anyway. 9 without loss at the end of the 5th over of the innings.
Yeah, and then just try and put your hands through the bad ball. But I think Stars showed this morning that it's very difficult to bat on early on. We've got quite a bit of cloud coverage over our heads now. So
I was just saying, I think if we were 2 fields on from the one we are in, we'd be getting very wet right now. I mean, hopefully not, because our gazebo would be holding up. But it looks like there's an almighty shower, very similar to the one that caught us earlier in the game, happening about 2 or 3 farmers' fields over from where the cricket club is here. So we're quite lucky, but you'll hear the wind getting up. We can start to see it moving around the leaves of the tree on the far side with all the various shades of green there. It seems to mainly be the lighter green trees that are getting waved about at the moment. And it does have a feeling as if one of those heavy showers is coming again. Now, I think we're far enough back this time to be relatively okay, but the plastic bags might have to come out for the kit. Running in now, trying to take one before the break is Ballinger. Tries to go a little bit straight, appeals for an help, so a caught behind rather, but I think it was one of those wishful ones to aim to keep the scoring down. And in fact, sorry, it was 10 without loss at the end of the 5th, so it is now 11 without loss.
Yeah, one side of the sky here is blue skies with a couple of clouds, and then one side is very dark. So
worryingly, unfortunately, though, Beth Harbour, I think we've had the blue
sky. Have had that, yeah.
And I think we're getting something rather more miserable on the way. We'll see how much it affects this game. Great bit of fielding by Kirk. Back point, appeal for out, and it is a run out. Well, what a throw that is from Michaela Kirk. It was perhaps slightly lazy running from Stonehouse there. 11 for 1, the score for South East Stars. Stonehouse just pushed out to backward point, and South Africans pride themselves on having made that a position. Of course, it was famed by Jonty Rhodes in the men's game in one day international cricket. Well, that pick up and throw from Michaela Kirk was every bit as good as a Lydia Greenway for England over the years, or a Jonty Rhodes for South Africa in the 99 World Cup. I mean, it was a pick up, throw the stumps down, direct hit, and for me, I felt Stonehouse always should have got there even with the direct hit, but umpire Banbury certainly didn't think she did.
Yeah, that's excellent fielding from Turkey. She's definitely one of our best fielders. She makes up so much ground so quickly. A good diving stop, straight on her feet, and a brilliant direct hit as well. So sometimes you just need that little bit of luck. Maybe not luck, because she has fielded excellently there. You need something to go your way. Hopefully, Blaze can capitalise on that now. And really squeeze.
Well, I'm guessing that's what she practices.
Yeah.
Because to be that good at it, you must have to practice very, very hard. Stonehouse, 2 boundaries, but out for 9. Run out by Michaela Kirk at backward point. And, I mean, we were talking about professionalism and the difference professionalism makes and the difference that practice ultimately makes. And we've seen it there with Michaela Kirk. She had a hard time with injury. I know she came and sat with me as you are today, because she'd been out for so long with injury. And I mean, to see her sort of in that athletic form is a really good sign. As Ballinger comes in, Bryce is up to the stumps. This one is played leg side by Chatley, who came to the striker's end as a result of the run out. Smith's come out at number 3. I mean, it must be nice for you to see your mate fielding like that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You know, you don't want to see anyone go through a terrible injury like Kirky did. So yeah, to come back and really establish herself in this team, and show off her fieldings like we've just seen is absolutely superb.
She's there, hands on knees at the moment at backward point. We also have cover and mid-off as Ballinger bowls, and a slip, and that's where the ball's gone off the edge of Chatley's bat. And both the openers are out, both of them departing back to the pavilion. Chatley for 1. It was a torturous innings, if we're honest. It's 11 for 2. 2 wickets falling with the scorer on 11. 1 a run out, and then Chatley outside edge. We were saying she was neither getting back nor forward. It was a similar one again. She was looking to cut, but it just went straight into the hands of the slip fielder, who believe was George Boyce. And, well,
yeah, excellent.
What a catch.
Yeah, like you said, she's probably tried to cut that when it's quite a straight ball. And yeah, it's gone straight to Georgie Boyce's hands. Relatively simple catch for her at slip. But 2 new batters into the crease now, so we're really looking to capitalise on this and have a really good squeeze on, limit those bad balls, and really maintain that back of a length ball, because I think that's the one that's kind of catching people out today, whether to go front or back. It's really asking the batters questions. So if Grace and Nadine can keep bowling that line of length, it could be good.
Another interesting aspect that I might get you to go and check in a moment is I'm reading the scorecard notes on MV Play, and it says target revised to 159 off 48.
Okay, yeah.
So rather than the 49 that the Blaze had to bat, so that's an interesting little quirk. So that to me, and this comes officially from the scorer, so I'm pretty certain it is right. His target revised to 159 off 48. Obviously, if we go off for rain again, that would be revised more. And the good thing from the point of view of the Blaze is one thing that does affect DLS is wickets, as that one is driven hard up to Marie Kelly, who's at mid-on and does the fielding well. 11 for 2 it remains. Ballinger will have the adrenaline pumping at the moment. Just redoes the ponytail on top of her head momentarily. And as I say, those 2 wickets will really change those calculations that our scorers will be making in terms of revised targets and who's ahead if the rain does come down. Ballinger bowling over the wicket left arm, driven out to the busy Hyam at short cover. The Blaze are buzzing at the moment. 11 for 2 is what we're seeing here, just the habit of winning games of cricket.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the girls will really be thinking about these next 2 wickets. I think they're really crucial. You know, Bridie Smith has so much experience in and around England A, scored so many runs, and obviously Brits on the back of 100 the other day versus Sunrisers. So
the new batter who drove that last ball to cover. What will she do now? Hits it down the ground for 4. Well, lovely shot from Brits. Just waited for the swing to come into her pads. She was forward, good position, solid base over the top. 4 runs, 15 for 2. And I think that's what you're saying. You're very right to mention that 100.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's, after we played Stars in her friendly a few weeks ago, and she looked very aggressive in the way she played. Hits the ball very hard, so I think it is a big wicket. But I do feel like you could feel like you're always in the game. That one there, yes, a very good shot, but it did go aerial for a bit of time. So I still think the girls will believe they're in this, in getting these wickets. Hopefully they can get Brits out quite early. But we're off to a very good start. 15 for 2 off 6 overs, so they'll be looking to keep the squeeze on here.
They certainly will. I mean, Brits came out there as if to go, look, I'm not going to prod around here. Yeah. I'm gonna get going. We'll give you the details of that 100, which came in only a second game in a Southeast Stars shirt in a moment. But Bryony Smith, who is well used to wearing that Southeast Stars shirt, just twiddles this one away into the leg side off the back foot, picks up a single, 16 for 2. So yeah, Brits coming on to strike, made a century in only a second innings for the Southeast Stars after joining us there overseas. Of course, played a big part in the T20 World Cup in South Africa. They were almost playing knockout cricket from after game 1, which they lost. Brits made 112 from 72 balls with 10 fours and 5 sixes in their win over Sunrisers by 19 on the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern that day. It looks as if we'll get a Duckworth-Lewis-Stern result today, because it's a revised target. We believe 159 off 48 overs, as that one goes away down the leg side. It'll be leg buys because it's taken Brits on the pads. It is tapped. It was fired in towards her body there. She did quite well to get sort of something, get padding on it rather than something, rather than bone or muscle that could bruise. It's 18 for 2 now.
I did read on one of the reports that Brits was dropped on naught at Cow
Corner. Oh, no.
So hopefully she'll offer a few more chances.
Well, she's down the track now, advancing, gets taken on the body again as she does so. And it's a dot ball as de Klerk comes and picks up. And this is a fascinating little battle, isn't it? 2 South African internationals.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Both part of that side that reached the T20 World Cup final. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy around that tournament with Danny van Niekerk being dropped in the build-up, losing the first game. And as I say, it was almost knockout cricket from that point onwards.
Yeah.
And they did really well to get to that final.
Yeah, definitely.
In comes de Klerk, bowling. 2 Brits who's forward and pushing down. There was a smile on de Klerk's face there as she fielded the ball in a return to prevent the run. These 2 enjoying the battle, I think.
I think it's great having Nadine around the team as well. I think you can see she wants to be here. I think it's very easy for international players to come over and just play cricket because they have to. But you can really see that Nadine wants to be here and she's here to win.
Bowling again to her international colleagues, Brits. That one seemed to nip away from the outside edge of Brits' bat. She rehearses something rather more modern, I think, would be the description of the shot she rehearsed. The one she played was kind of a classical off drive. Neither would have necessarily been effective. That was a great bit of bowling into the gloves of Bryce. 18 for 2, no run off that last delivery. Turning again. Comes de Klerk. Bowls right arm over the wicket. Shown into the offside where Kelly is with the fielding. Not really too far back or forward on that occasion, Brits, which was the undoing of Chatley for 1 caught by Boyce of the bowling of Ballinger. And there was also the run out of Stonehouse for just 9 by Michaela Kirk. The Blaze in this game, even though they're only defending 159 of 48 overs, I've just seen the board on the far side adjust accordingly as well to confirm that, which is good.
Yeah, Grace Ballinger back in to bowl. She'll be wanting as many overs as possible today. Try and capitalise on that ball swinging early.
You're with us on the Blaze Cricket YouTube stream. Do make sure you hit that thumbs up button, as 28 people have already, which is great to see and helps other people find these streams. As in comes Ballinger once again to bowl from the spine cop end here of Welbeck, hit quickly through the leg side. Kelly it was who had to come round from mid-on to do the fielding on the back of the ring rather than de Klerk at short mid-wicket. But it's still, even though we had that shower, it's still lightning quick, this outfield.
Yeah.
Shaved to within an inch of the ground, really, of the soil.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good piece of fielding there by Marie. I think had she not made the stop, I think it would have gone to the boundary. So saved a few runs there.
Here's Ballinger. Bryce waits for the gloves. Won't get in the game on this ball as Brits just deflects it with a forward defensive stroke, trying to take the ball behind square and use the pace of it, but couldn't evade Kirk, who is lively, it's fair to say now, at a backward point, having got the run out to get her team started in this game.
Yeah, I think the girls, it's not very difficult to tell the girls to be up for it because they already will be, but especially taking 2 early wickets in the way we have done, I think.
It always helps as Ballinger bowls. This one's uppish again, but the other side of Marie Kelly, past her right hand at mid-on and well over her head again. 4 more for Brit. She's on to 8. They've both been boundaries over mid-on. This one, as I say, was over a wide mid-on rather than the straight mid-on she'd gone earlier. 22 for 2. Fine shot again, clipping it off the toes.
Yeah, I think just the wrong line there from Grace. Probably pitched a ball on middle to leg stump, and obviously with that ball swinging in, it's only going to go away into her. So Brits back to self there. Grace will just be looking to push that line over a bit.
It's always the line you're treading as a left arm in swing bowler, not to get too close to those pads. That was about perfect.
That was,
brought a defensive stroke on about middle and leg stump when Brits ended up playing it. It flew up to mid-on where Kelly did the fielding. I might be quite relieved that one came on the ground, having seen 2 disappear over her head.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other good news is the rain seems to be going around us. So
yeah, it seems to have blown over those fields in the distance, and I'm sure the farmers' fields needed it more than the cricket pitch, if we're honest.
Definitely.
So I'm sure whoever the farmer is over there, they'll be grateful. Now this one's hit down the ground straight towards us. It bounces a couple of times and rolls over the rope. 4 more to the total. 27 for 2. A reminder that the target is 158 in 48 overs. And as I say, the orange figures on the scoreboard, the one that will change in just a moment, will be from 8 to 12, and that signifies the 3 boundaries hit by Tasmin Brits, the South African international.
Yeah, I think she's clearly backing herself. If it's in her slot today, she's going to hit it. Well, I guess with a low total, if she's going to do that and get 40 or so, off not many, then it does put her side in a good position. So
well, it's a big chunk of that 158, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The Blaze making 159 with the bat, but that's been revised down because this is a 48 over chase. There's changes to the field being made. They're going to put mid-on back. They're going to put mid-wicket back. They're going to bring up backward square leg. In fact, they were more at a long leg, really, weren't they? But they've come up to backward square leg in the ring. They've brought up third inside the ring as well. Slip's going to disappear and go to cover. So a slightly different tactic here. Do you think Brits will change her approach?
I don't think so. I think she'd still back herself.
We'll find out as Ballinger bowls. It was a slower ball. Interesting.
Yeah.
That was prodded to Nadine de Klerk. No run. 27 for 2. We've had 8 overs.
Yeah, I think she'd still back herself to pick the gaps. I think as a player who's clearly in form, you'll still take a single to hit it to those people hard, and you could even capitalise and get more than that. So.
And at risk of sounding slightly cowardly here, how in danger are we at long off to Tasmin Brits?
I reckon if spin comes on, I reckon we could be in.
I think she might try it off Ballinger, to be honest. I know the swing's sort of taken it away from us, thankfully. But anyway, thankfully the bowling's from the Charlie French end of Welbeck Cricket Club at the moment. The John Fretwell Centre is where this game is being played, just north of Mansfield in England. Nottinghamshire, to be precise. Nottinghamshire now the home of the Blaze. They're based at Trent Bridge. As we say, won against Central Sparks there early in the season. Had some good games in the Charlotte Edwards Cup as well, as that one's deflected out into the offside. Bryony Smith quite happy to play second fiddle for once, which is
Yeah.
unusual. Kelly was there with the fielding. It's not often you see Smith, I suppose she's only faced a couple of balls, but
Mm.
it's not often you see her sort of sitting in a sort of junior partner role, if you like, as de Klerk bowls. And Smith goes down the ground as if to prove a point. Doesn't quite get all of it. It was in the air, over the top. Brits is so quick and so fit and almost slides like a baseball player into her crease there. We talk about baseball shots coming into cricket. That was a baseball slide on her right pad. 29 for 2.
Yeah, I think with Brit's batting the way she is, it's just going to allow Bryony to play herself in, not needing to take any risks at all. And she's certainly a good enough player to pick up on those bad balls. So
She certainly is.
yeah,
Just assessing her options as Gordon has a discussion with de Klerk. It was a brief one. I think de Klerk was just like, give me the ball, let me have another go, and bowls this one on off stump, almost shapes to throw, and then moulds it into a shaping to throw at Bryce rather than at the stumps.
one thing Nadine does very well is her fielding off her own bowling. I think it's definitely something that a lot of our other seamers have really taken in. She's always just there wanting the ball. I think.
Well, that stop earlier on in this spell where she dived is the word I'm looking for, across the pitch and got it one-handed, as this is pulled away into the leg side, but long leg is out and it's returned for the loss of only one run. 34-2. Good bit of work by Catherine Bryce out there, but that was phenomenal. I mean, dived right across the pitch,
Yeah,
one hand, stopped the ball and prevented a run.
yeah, no, she's excellent. I think that's what a lot of Grace Ballinger and Sophie Monroe can really learn a lot of her. It's quite young bowlers, so yeah, she's great to have around the team.
Young herself, but as I say, has a T20 final that she's played in alongside Brits, who was taken around the thigh guard there by that de Klerk delivery. 34-2. And what was the feeling amongst players with overseas coming in? Because obviously I think there was a bit of surprise around when all of a sudden Thunder announced, by the way, tomorrow we're playing Deandra Dottin. We've signed her. But this season everybody seems to have got somebody like de Klerk, and Blaze have gone for one that they can have for the whole season there, as she again fields off her own bowling, and there's no run. 30 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, for the women's cricket, it's brilliant. It's a step in the right direction. Everybody wants to be seeing a good standard of cricket, and that's exactly what everyone's got this year. The effect that they've had on every team has been excellent. I guess from a personal perspective of like young cricketers coming through, I guess it kind of does take away an opportunity. But
True.
I think even training alongside them and
Yeah.
like lifestyle wise and just learning a lot about how professional cricket is done and different ways of going about it as well. I think you can learn a lot of it. So yeah, I guess from like a personal perspective and a lot of younger girls, I guess it's not many more opportunities there when the international players are there, but even being around them is really good, and you can learn so much of them.
Yeah. Is that why one is probably the right number then at the moment? Because you sort of wouldn't want to see county teams in the men's game tend to have
Yeah.
2. That would feel a bit much to me, having watched every edition of this competition so far, because it is about making England more competitive with Australia, which they have been this summer, as that one's played into the leg side, fielded at mid wicket, no run. There's a change of bowling. This is Kirsty Gordon, the captain.
Yeah, I think you could definitely certainly have more if you've got more than one team.
Here's Gordon bowling. Oh, that looks LBW, and Banbury has put her finger up. The umpire raising it to the sky, and Bryony Smith is out. That ball didn't bounce as much as she was expecting, although I didn't feel it was especially low bounce. It was just more. It was the right shot. It was just poorly executed. And 30 for 2. Bryony Smith has tried to pull it away, and the bats just swept past the ball, missed it. And if you do that, you're back on your stumps. And if you're playing it to a ball that is hitting your stumps, as that one was, then you're going to be in trouble. We had a great view of it here from long off. A change of pace with Kirsty Gordon, very clever from her, and she likes to be amongst the wickets, doesn't she?
Yeah, definitely a clear change in pace there, and with that comes the ball probably not bouncing as much as what Bryony thought. maybe putting her hands through the ball too early. But no, it's a very big wicket for the Blaze here. Just be thinking about maybe getting the new batter on strike and trying to avoid getting Brits on strike.
Well, that'll be the challenge, won't it? Is now probably you've got one of the two big hitters. Can you keep the other one away from the strike and kind of bowl at the other end, keep the other end open? It's 3 wickets though in the power play. That's always seen as crucial in T20 cricket. Is it as important in 50 over cricket?
Yeah, I would say so. If I know today we're only playing 48 now, but you think you need 7 more wickets in 40 overs. That's quite a long time. So you'd think as a bowling side you're on top, especially if you're bowling first. But knowing the score that we've posted, the girls won't be feeling like carried away with it at all. If anything, Kirsty and the girls will be more up for it than ever, knowing that these next few wickets and next few overs are really crucial.
She puts huge pressure on herself to take wickets, does Kirsty Gordon, as she delivers that first ball onto leg stump. Left arm around the wicket is Gordon. It was just prodded away for no run. In comes Gordon again, bowling, looking for a second wicket of the over. Again, prodded away into the offside this time. It's Davidson Richards who's come to the crease. So the two 24s going up against each other. Gordon for Blaze, Davidson Richards for South East Stars. Davidson Richards, of course, making 107 in the Test match against South Africa last season.
Yeah, another strong batter joins the crease. Obviously, experience of playing against Australia for England A. So she'll be looking to build a good partnership here with Brits too.
Here's Gordon again, whirling away and back into the crease went Richards and was watchful and careful to make sure she defended that. And that's the end of the over. 30 for 3 then at the end of the power play. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's obviously a brilliant start from the Blaze here. I think if you'd have said three wickets in the power play, you'd have taken it straight away. Just be looking for Nadine to keep nailing those line of lengths to really get the batsman questioning whether to go back or forwards. She's bowled excellently at Brits so far, so try and see if she can get her fellow international teammate out.
But you almost need, though, don't you, 3 wickets in the power play if you're going to defend a total like 158 off 48 overs.
Yeah, definitely. Because, you've got Kirsty Gordon at the other end who, is probably not likely to go for many runs, kind of soak up all the pressure. So I think if you can bowl a good line on this pitch, very straight, then it leaves the batters to do all the work. So in comes the Dean.
Bowling to Brits, who flicks into the leg side. We'll pick up one. An easy one in the end. 31 for 3 the total moves on to. Brings Davidson Richards back onto strike, looking for her first run. Brits looking fluid, though, on 13 at the non-striker's end. Just chatting away to the umpire at the moment.
Sorry.
Here comes, we'll just pop the mic down for a moment as de Klerk bowls, and this one's clipped leg side. There's a bug that's come in. We get a fair bit of wildlife here at Welbeck, don't we? We've seen lots of beautiful butterflies, but that was a rather nasty fly who'd come in. So apologies at home for needing to wave that one away. And of course, usually we get away with these things because we don't have the camera on us, but we've gone the other way today as this one's bowled and Davidson Richards clips up to mid-on.
I think they've got the field set right now, having Teresa at mid-on instead of a mid-wicket. I think you'd probably want to encourage the batters to go across and play squarer, so I think actually having Teresa there is a lot better option.
And it was that sort of shot in the end, wasn't it? That as if Richards was looking to go a bit squarer there, kind of clipped it. Didn't produce her a run, though, on that occasion. Just a retaking of guard as up to the wickets comes Sarah Bryce, wicketkeeper with a cap tucked down the back of the trousers, is the way these days. Davidson Richards will get her first 2 runs here. The clip works this time, taking the ball wide of mid-on. And that's what produces the 2 runs. 33 for 3. The clock ticking round to what? I make that. Ooh, double check it on the digital one. 3:30. Way in the distance, got black hands on a white background. Very, very neat clock on top of the scoreboard up there. In comes Nadine de Klerk. Davidson Richards waits. Defending. Back into a crease. She wanted to go forward there, but just couldn't quite find her way forward in the end, and just had to stand there and defend in the end.
Yeah, Gully came into mid-wicket for that ball as well. Still got a slip in. It's really good being aggressive, especially 3 down in the power play, I think. Definitely being aggressive to the new batter.
Davidson Richards faces up again. She knows the total isn't a huge one. Run rate's not the issue, but wickets is a bit of a problem at the moment. The number 5 South East Stars clipped that leg side. Catherine Bryce was round, did the fielding well, kept it to 1, 34 for 3. A little bit brighter here at Welbeck. We've avoided that shower, haven't we?
Yeah, it's just gone around us. It's good
news.
Because
we did get very wet in that first one.
Yeah.
And we don't have the brolly anymore. I put the brolly to one side to dry it off, and I haven't brought it back. A little bit remiss of us here, but good to have you with us here on this stream. Got around about 150 of you with us at the moment. 31 of you hitting the thumbs up button, which is great to see. So do make sure you keep spreading the word. Kirsty Gordon bowling here from the Spine Cop end of Welbeck Cricket Club. Lovely to be able to bring you cricket here from the first time. It's been slightly problematic, it's fair to say, but we're delighted to be able to bring you this match between Blaze and South East Stars now. Now, I think that's hit Davidson Richards in the helmet there. She went down to play a little paddle over her shoulder. There is going to be a concussion check, just to be totally sure. I think she feels a bit embarrassed as much as anything, because the ball wasn't going at, I mean, Gordon does bowl fairly quick and flat, but I don't think it was going at any great pace. It sort of slowed off the pitch and probably a little bit off the body of Davidson Richards, but it did bop her in the head.
Yeah, I think Kirsty's really good at changing the pace here. She'll know that on this wicket, if you get a ball that's constantly coming at you at the same pace, it'll be easy to get used to. So I think she's just changing it up a little bit, and obviously a bit more of a tennis ball bounce there, as ADR's looked to play a little paddle. It's probably just popped a bit more than what she thought it was going to.
Yeah. The questions are individual now, aren't they, for the concussion test? What are yours?
Well, I have been concussed quite a few times now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Goodness, right.
But
I mean, it is quite, let's be honest, it is quite serious.
Yeah. None from like a direct hit, though. I got whiplash a few times last year at Headingley. It's quite bad, but yeah, I think it's just a case of, if you don't answer those first few questions right, it's a case of doing your scat and making sure your score is higher than your baseline.
Here comes Gordon, left arm around the wicket. The ramp does work this time. Brave from Davidson Richards to go down and play it again, even though it wasn't the fiercest of blows she'd had on the helmet, and she actually sent that over slip almost in the end.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was a long way outside off stump, and usually the player paddling will try to go sort of to that vacant 45 position, which I think was her original plan, but Boyce would have been interested for a second. 2 more to the total. It was productive, 34 for 3 as Gordon bowls, driven back to her, no run.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean when I say, if the ball's coming straight and full at you, it leaves the batter to do the work. So you see there, ADR playing a few ramps, and it's making her do something different, which is quite promising for the Blaze here.
Oh, now that took the edge. There's frustration from Kirsty Gordon. Did that get all the way to slip, or did Bryce get a bit of it on the way through, or was that maybe the problem of why it didn't get to slip?
Sure.
It looked a big edge to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So a difficult one for the keeper, but I think the keeper got a bit on it, and it maybe took the pace off it towards Boyce. There was a cry of anguish from Kirsty Gordon. Next one's defended. It is 36 for 3. My apologies at the end, or as we head towards the end of the 12th over of this chase of 158. Reminding you, if you're just joining us, but I'd beaten the board there. As Gordon bowls again, it sort of just pops up a little bit. There's something in it for the bowlers, isn't it? It's not a bad pitch by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's a 159 all out as the
No.
Blaze pitch, but there's something just
Yeah.
either for the spinner, it'll just skip off the turf, or same for the quick bowler. It just seems to just skip every now and again, and the batter's never quite in.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a certain length on this pitch just seems to have a little bit of pop in it, and it's proven very effective, like we've seen early on in the Blaze innings. That question of should I go forward, should I go back, cost a few wickets in our innings, and a couple in this as well. So
Yeah, well, it cost Chatley a wicket, didn't it? Caught by Boyce at slip off the bowling of Ballinger. There was the run out as well. And then the third wicket, Bryony Smith, that one seemed to, I felt it bounced fine, actually. I
yeah,
think she was playing the right shot and just didn't play it well enough ultimately, and found herself LBW in front of the stumps.
yeah. Catherine Bryce comes on to bowl here.
So we shield our eyes slightly from the sun, even though we are under cover here. It's cracking the flags, as they say, all of a sudden. And they definitely say cracking the flags up here. I think if we were playing in Beckenham or somewhere, South East Stars territory, I don't think they use that quite as much. But it's definitely a Nottinghamshire phrase, a Derbyshire phrase, a Leicestershire phrase. So that one was pushed off the back foot for no run, just wide of the fielder at mid-off. Tumbling attempt by Heyhoe. Seems like one of those cricketers who always would come off with grubby knees at the end of a day's play.
Yeah.
In comes.
Oh.
Well, there was an effort to catch that by Catherine Bryce, caught and bowled, but just couldn't cling on. It was hit back past her. 4 runs to the total. Brits is going to play one way here, and she ain't going to leave the field wondering. 17 she's on to, 40 for 3. The chase 158.
Yeah, it's kind of a half chance there for Catherine Bryce. Hit quite firmly back at her, and as she's following through, it's gone straight past her.
I don't even think she got anything on it in the
No.
end. It wasn't like one of those ones where you could say, oh, she got a fingertip on it or something like that. I think it was, she just put her hand up and ended up grasping at fresh air. As that one goes through to Bryce, who took it neatly. Her cap falls out from the back of her trousers as she had to sort of ride up on one leg with the bounce. You said Catherine Bryce was going to be tricky on this. She's into the attack.
Yeah, definitely. I think her in swing will prove pretty well on here.
Bowls again, hitting the air, and again just wide of the fielder. It's fractions, it's fingertips that just don't seem to be able to grasp the ball at the moment for the Blaze. It feels as if the chance is going to be there, but it's not quite coming a clear-cut way. It was Heyhoe this time at short cover, who seemed just to be inches away. 44 for 3.
Yeah, it's touch and go, isn't it? I think you always feel like you're in the game. I think these chances, fingertips away on both occasions in just the same over. So Brycey will feel like she's still very much in this. She can just get that right length, offer a little bit of purchase off the pitch.
Beth Harmer, the voice you're hearing there, part of the Blaze squad, alongside myself, Mike Perkins, here at Welbeck Cricket Club. In comes Catherine Bryce, looking for that in-swinger again. She'd taken the pace off that time, and it sort of drifted in towards the stumps. Was driven straight by Brits, who picks up another one, and that's probably the quietest shot she's played in the innings. She's on to 22, 45 now, the total. A little bit of silence falls as well with the quieter shot around Welbeck. The wind blowing. The trees being ruffled gently now, certainly more gently than when the storm passed a moment ago. Davidson Richards had to be watchful there. There is a little bit of indifferent bounce, isn't there? That one seemed to keep low. We've seen a few, as I say, just jump off the turf. But that's what you get with outground cricket. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Definitely. I do think though with Catherine, we always say when we're out there, if anyone goes back to her, we're in the game, because she's not one really to tend to get any bounce at all. So if someone goes on the back foot to her, we'll always say we're in it. But yeah, there's a little bit of variable bounce. I think that comes with variable pace of the ball as well. So Kirsty will look to use that to advantage right now.
Well, she's already taken an LBW of the very dangerous Bryony Smith, but the very dangerous Tasman Britt's still on strike. She's gone big and over the top, and that'll be 6, a big 6, back over the spectators sitting at long on there. Umpire Banbury's arms are raised to signify as much. It's the 50 up for South East Stars as well. But actually, I think the most important thing there was the intent shown by Tasman Britt. She's not going to let Kirsty Gordon bowl at her. So a long off goes back as well as a long on now. Well, I imagine long on still looking for the ball, to be honest, but I imagine they're not going to come back inside the ring. But they could have been 2 or 3 boundaries back there and not caught that one.
Yeah, I think it's with Kirsty. If you let her settle, she'll be right on top.
Here comes Kirsty Gordon again. And it's left
It's
bravely,
a very good
actually.
leave.
And in fact, Sarah Bryce, who caught the ball behind the stumps, a whisker over the off stump, sort of then bent double in disappointment, almost as if she was mourning the loss of what would have been a wicket.
Yeah, so good players will look to get on top of bowlers like Kirsty, because as soon as you let her settle, 10 of her overs have already gone for not many runs. So
here's Gordon again, bowling in sunshine now here in Mansfield. Big hit again, and it's going to clear the boundary again by some distance off towards the banks around this ground. A little bit of a whoop whoop from the South East Stars players. 57 for 3. And another fielder is sent towards that region of the pitch at kind of wide, long on. But to be frank, the way she's hitting him, it's not going to matter.
No, you can't have fielders off the pitch, can you? So
no.
As I said earlier, I think she'll back herself to clear it anyway. We've just seen that the last couple of balls.
If anyone's having a late lunch or an early afternoon tea there, they may well have ended up with a jam and a scone in their face there. Brits goes on the sweep this time into a vacant area in the leg side behind square for 4 runs. Clever cricket that from Brits. Third boundary of the over takes a score into 61. It was 4 this time, but she's manipulating the field now. She's got 3 back mid-wicket, wide long on and straight long on. And this time she goes over backward square.
Yeah, smart batting there, push the field to where you want it to go, and then capitalising on that loose one down leg side.
It's very easy to say, though, isn't it? Push the field where you want it to go, but it's very skillful to be able to do it. And Brits is doing it with class here. Just goes down to long off and takes a 1 on this occasion. Teresa Graves, who made 56 in the first innings of this game, does the fielding, returning on the bounce. And the fielders come back in now, or at least some of them, as the strike is rotated. And Davidson Richards is back on strike. Both these players with international, well, all 3 really, Gordon, Davidson Richards and Brits with international experience here. I mean, there's a lot of internationals about. The Blaze always almost seem to suffer because they obviously, when they were in their lightning guys, they had Tammy Beaumont, but then she'd go on England duty, and then of course the Bryce sisters would quite often end up on England duty. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not on England duty, on Scotland duty, I should say, because I'm sure I'd get a slap on the wrist for saying that in front of either of them. But it did sort of seem to, they were a different team without those players, as any team would be.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably how much it's changed the last year. I think, you'd have to count on a lot of the younger ones to pull through.
Here comes de Klerk bowling. It's just outside the off stump, forced off the back foot by Brits, although it was a relatively full ball into the offside, no run.
Yeah, and then obviously with the likes of Glennie and Natsima Brunt coming in, just offers a lot more depth, and there's a lot more competition,
It's an all-star cast for the Blaze these days in their new home at Trent Bridge. That's a lovely back foot forcing shot. It's going to go all the way for 4, just rolling away quite calmly in the end. It wasn't a stroke with the flourish we saw in the previous over going over the top from Tasman Brits, but she looks in terrific form here. Takes her total already on to 43. And if the Blaze don't get Brits out, this game is done. The Chase 158, they have 66 of them already.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it, hard-hitting batter, but also playing those little shots.
Catherine Bryce bowls to Brits, who looks accusingly at a bat as she drove that one down the offside. It was a good stop by Catherine Bryce to prevent a run. She knew her fielder was out and long off, and if she missed it, there was going to be scoring from Brits, who settles again. 2-3 taps of the bat, swings hard into the offside. She's looking to beat short extra cover Lucy Hyam at the moment. Hyam got everything behind it and stops it. 66 for 3 it remains.
Yeah, I think having a batter coming in and being able to clear the ropes just as she's done, and then played those little fine shots behind the wicket is exceptional to have in your team.
Looks to drive out a Yorker length ball here from Bryce, who again is diving to prevent a run being scored off her bowling. 66 for 3. Brits just becalmed for a couple of balls here. But she'll have her eyes on those fields in the distance, no doubt, where the rain fell earlier. We've lost overs to rain as well here, just a few of them though, as that one is played into the offside. Graves comes across and does the fielding, just examines her finger. So 49 overs in the Blaze innings, although they didn't use all of them in the end. And the chase 158 off 48 in the Stars innings. And they're well on course for that at the moment, having lost 3 wickets for 30 runs in the power play.
Yeah, I think this has been quite a fast 30-odd run partnership between these two. So it's quite a key one to break up for the Blaze here. A good finish by Catherine Bryce in her last few balls of that over. But Kirsty will be wanting to take the reins here and get the control back to the Blaze.
Although, speaking of form, you've got Paige Schofield, I imagine, will be the next to walk out, who has made 300s in this English summer already. As an appeal for LBW, it felt batty to me from this distance, but there we go. No run produced from it, and Davidson Richards seemed to be advancing as well, which probably swayed the umpire in favour of not out. Glad to see people enjoying this stream. Good to have more than 100 of you with us. Keep hitting the thumbs up button as this one's gone big from Davidson Richards. There's no fielder back. It's 6.
Caught by crowd.
A member of the crowd, very well, in fact. 72 for 3. I think they maybe moved around there when they saw the 6s in the previous over. Gordon's kept herself on here, but disappears for another 6. 72 for 3.
Yeah, Alice Davidson Richards taking her go there.
So we do have long on and mid-wicket back now, but we don't have the 3 we had for Brits, and Davidson Richards goes behind square. She's going to look for 2, doesn't get it. Good bit of ground covered on the far side, so it prevented any more than 1 being taken. Good from Monroe, who heads back out to deep backward square leg. So they're all out on the leg side now, except for Boyce, who is in at a kind of short straight mid-wicket, I think, just to try and save the single. Brits on strike. Goes offside. Behind square. Dabbing away. The chase is on to the boundaries. Ballinger gets there and throws back in, but for the loss of 2 runs. A precious 2 runs as the halfway mark of this chase is approached. 75 for 3 the score. That had given 150. They need to get to 79 to reach the halfway mark because it's 158 required. Gordon bowls. Rather ended up on the toes of Brits as she advanced down the track, and she cleverly managed to whisk it up to Marie Kelly at mid-on, or long-on rather. 76 for 3.
Yeah, that's well bowled by Kirsty. Saw her coming.
Slips back in, but there are 2 back after the 6 earlier in the over. Now that's a great ball. It's turned, it's bounced, it's finished just above the off stump. Gordon can't believe it. I think she may have let out a little swear word there. And Sarah Bryce took it cleanly behind the stumps. It was a great way to finish the over, but it was another over that was dominated by the South East Stars ultimately. 76 for 3.
Yes, showing with ADR hitting that 6. She feels like she's into her innings here, so it's really crucial that the Blaze get a wicket fairly soon.
And all of the 6s, actually, they've gone some considerable distance, but they've all been very fluid swings of the bat, really. It's not felt like they've been trying to wallop it. They've just eased it over the boundary.
Yeah, it's not been forced at all. It just shows a team that's clearly got a bit of confidence going into today, and they're showing that right now.
Here comes Catherine Bryce again, back in towards the stumps with that in swing that Beth Harmer, her teammates, been telling you about on the Blaze Cricket YouTube stream. Good to have you with us. Good to be able to bring you this game from Welbeck. As I say, it's a bit more of a sort of radio experience really today. As in comes Catherine Bryce once again, bowling. Brits gets an inside edge. She was looking to go down the ground. There are hands on heads from a number of those in the orange shirts for the Blaze, but one run to the total, 77 for 3. They're approaching that halfway point.
Yeah, quite aggressive there from Brits. Looked like it was quite close to chopping onto the stumps there, but a little bit of luck swinging her way at the minute.
Here's Davidson Richards. Can the Blaze pick one up before that halfway point? They've been winning a lot of games of cricket, yet to lose in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy this season. Graves has got a touch on it, which took it round Munro. That won't help the cause, because that does take the South East Stars up to the halfway mark of this chase. 79 for 3. They need 158 for victory. The Blaze still buzzing, they're still lively, as they were after the run out, but the board's just getting away from them at the moment. Catherine Bryce again. Davidson Richards drives back to her. No run. Very much your feeling, Beth Hart.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. I know when you don't post a relatively high total, it's really difficult to stay in the game. I think the way we started, it would have been excellent. But obviously when a partnership builds.
Here's Catherine Bryce bowling, clipped away into the leg side. There is no run on offer.
Yeah, when a partnership builds, it is really tough to try and stick in it, especially when you know there's batters that have a huge amount of experience and are in good touch. It's really hard to keep your head and still believe. But we're hearing plenty of noise from the girls, so hopefully spirits are high.
South East Stars looking to go to at least 23 points, if not 24, with a win today. They start the day on 19 in third position. The Blaze at the top with 32, so it would be a significant victory, particularly with the Blaze beating the Vipers. A single to finish the over as it was clipped off the toes, 80 for 3 the score. Was that psychologically a big victory for the group to go and beat the Vipers? Obviously, they got the better of you on Charlotte Edwards Cup finals day. I know how disappointing that must have been, but to then go to the Isle of Wight, I mean, you've been up to Durham, you've been all the way to the Isle of Wight. You couldn't have covered much more of this country this season. But to go there and beat the Vipers, okay, a Vipers without the likes of Dean and Bell and the internationals, but still, how important is that psychologically to beat a Charlotte Edwards team?
No, definitely, it's really good for us. You say they obviously didn't have a few of their key players, but I guess you could flip it and say that we didn't either. So I think that's really key to have. But I think that's the difference. You know, we were in a position where we needed to go at fives with only a few wickets left in hand. And I think a few years ago, I think we would have struggled to cross the line. But it just shows the depth and the experience we've had in those difficult situations, with a bit of experience from some senior players, has made our habits of winning a lot easier. And as soon as you get into that habits,
and it's Munro who hit the boundaries that made a difference, who's running in from the spine cop end of Welbeck Cricket Club, bowling in towards the pads. It's just worked into the leg side. There is no run on offer there. 80 for 3 it remains.
Yeah, you just feel like Soph can maybe, unsure, she'll bring out a few of her variations this early, but I think it could prove quite good for us. You do just think Brits seems to like a bit of pace on the ball, so that could go one of two ways, I think.
Coming in looking to bowl quick and fast is Munro, and getting that little bit of life, just finding that area in the pitch outside the off stump. Again, it just skipped off the pitch through into the gloves of Bryce. No run, but a dangerous moment for the batter on strike at the moment, who is settling in again. And here comes Munro, heel to toe as she goes. Davidson Richards faces up, pulls into the leg side. Is that going to go away for 4? Hyam's got the chase on, but it's in vain. And 4 more to the total, 84 for 3. These two starting to look settled at the crease and starting to look as if they're going to accelerate this game towards the victory target of 158 in 48.
Yeah, that one just set up quite nicely for Alice Davison-Richards there to take full advantage of. Quite a tall player, so ball is just back of a length. It will probably not do too much harm to her, as opposed to someone who's a bit shorter than her.
The Blaze, who've won 6, lost none, 2 no results so far this season, looking to take on the South East Stars, who have 4 in both the wins and the losses column. That drive was fielded by Boyce at extra cover. No run for Davidson-Richards there, but she's already got the 4 in this over, so just needs to add a couple of singles if it's not in her area to hit another boundary. Here comes Munro, pacing in, right arm over the wicket, slightly short in length, pulled away down to long leg this time for 1. Brings Brits back onto strike on 47. 85 for 3. Quite a nice afternoon now at
Yeah, definitely. There's
Welbeck.
another grey cloud coming, but I'm sure that will just go round us.
A little bit of warmth to it all of a sudden. There's still a fairly brisk breeze blowing across. You'll hear it rattle the commentary gazebo we're in once or twice. Here's Munro bowling. Down the wicket comes Pritz. There's an appeal for caught behind. It was a wishful one. Maybe one of those to put off the wide. I don't think umpire Banbury even had that thought in her head. I think if Brits had stayed dead still there, that had hit her in the forehead.
Yeah, I agree.
It was only because she was advancing that it missed her. 85 for 3 then at the end of the 19th over.
Yeah, I think a good bit of umpiring there. I think if she'd stood still where she was originally, then it wouldn't have been a wide. So, good bit of umpiring there with the rules. Catherine Bryce coming on again at the other end.
18th over. My apologies. I'm never quite sure if that board's ahead or behind.
Yeah,
But it was ahead on that occasion, which isn't difficult to be ahead of me. I'll be quite honest. Here's Alice Davidson-Richards facing up. Catherine Bryce comes in, bowls. It's in towards the pads. There's appeal for LBW. It's out. A misjudgment from Davidson-Richards. She can't believe it. I felt it was creeping down leg, I have to say. We are on an angle.
Yeah.
But the umpire's finger was straight up. Davidson-Richards is out. LBW to Catherine Bryce. It's the 4th wicket to fall. The score is 85. It's perhaps a slightly controversial decision. How big could it prove in the match, though?
Yeah, well, you never know from the angle we're at, I guess. You don't know how far across ADR's gone across.
But the importance of the wicket at that time,
yeah,
regardless
it's
of
huge,
how it came about.
Yeah, no, it's huge. I think you still need to look at the other end. Blinkhorn-Jones now coming in, I believe. She's on a good run of forms. I think she's made her way up through the academy.
So no temptation to send Schofield in. I know admittedly, she has sort of battered around the 7 mark quite a lot. In fact, I have to look up where she was for those hundreds earlier in the season. But they're clearly backing Blinkhorn-Jones here, aren't they?
Yeah, she's we played her in a friendly the other week and scored 100. So
she's in touch. Then,
she is in
she?
touch. Yeah, having a bit of confidence, being put in now. She'll look to just play herself in around Brits. Must be quite good batting alongside someone who has such great experience.
Also knowing someone who can sort of take control of this chase definitely. If she had to. She can sort of dig you out of a hole if needs be. But she played I think it was the semi-final, was it the last group game? Played a very strange innings where they were only chasing a low total, but went very slowly about it, Brits, but got there. It was real sort of guts and determination to just get her team over the line. I think she can play a situation if she needs to, and that will help Blinkhorn-Jones, who plays this one into the offside, and Hyam is there with the fielding. 85 for 4 then. LBW, Davidson-Richards out to Catherine Bryce. A crucial moment we will soon find out, because this game is accelerating at pace. It will either be chased down quickly or the wickets will fall quickly. It's going very along at a real pace here, and you will find out which way it goes on the Blaze YouTube stream. In comes Catherine Bryce again. bowling. Onto the back foot goes Blinkhorn Jones. Lots of oohs, lots of ahs, lots of excitement from the Blaze.
So it's that back foot against Pricey. You always feel like you're in the game.
And well, that shout will have gone right round the field then. Yeah. Those exact words. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, dear me. Right, in comes Catherine Bryce. It's short again. Blinkhorn Jones is back again. I think rightly because it was drifting down the leg side. She's looking to pull into the leg side. Didn't get any of it. Off the body, no run.
I think just a bit of extra pop again there. It's just that awkward length of whether to go forward or back. And Brycey just got a little bit more bounce than what she normally does there.
Blinkhorn Jones faces up once more. Bryce bowls right onto the off stump. She was forward on this occasion, pushing into the offside. No runs scored. And two batters couldn't be at more different stages of their innings, really. Blinkhorn Jones on naught, just trying to find that first run. Asmin Britt's looking in great form on 47, although she has sort of been in the 40s for a while here, perhaps been starved of the strike slightly, so that will sort of, you can almost have your innings stalled, can't you, if you don't get enough of the strike?
Yeah, definitely. But I think an experienced player like herself, she won't let that phase her at all. Faced that one ball of Sophie Monroe in the last over. So it'll be interesting to see how she shapes up against her now. I'd imagine Sophie will begin to maybe start bowling her variations, bring in a bit of bounce and seam from the pitch. We've got a third man, fine, square, and a deep cover out as well. So orthodox back full field.
Those are the fielders outside the ring as Monroe bowls short, and it's a no ball. I thought it was maybe a wide, to be honest with you, because I don't think the batter had much hope of hitting it, but no ball called anyway.
Yeah, I think Sophie's actually probably pitched that closer to her toes than Britt's toes.
I mean, it had venom in it. It just wasn't anywhere near the batter.
Yeah.
I suppose I guess the no ball, I would need somebody to fully refresh me on the rules, but maybe they punish it that way now because it's more of a punishment, because obviously you get the whirly ice cream for the free hit, don't you? As Britt's faces up just short of the 50. She's going to try and hit this one down the ground.
Yeah, I believe it's only it's not a free hit on that
for
no
the
ball.
Bouncer, right?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. In which case, it should be a wide. But there we go. Anyway, I'm showing my lack of knowledge of the rules, and I'll be quiet now. 86 for 4 is the score. We're in the 20th over of the innings as the wind blows Monroe's hair and kit and everything all to one side there as she runs in and delivers short of a length, trying to dig it into the ribs. Britt's happy to take another one on to 48, 87 for 4.
Yeah, the girls will be looking to keep the new batter on strike here. Try and starve Brits as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to keep their end open from this point on, really, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. So we see cover come up now, and mid-wicket kind of squeeze a bit, slip in place too. So
we'll be with you to the conclusion of this game, provided the batteries and the hotspot all last here, but they seem to be doing an okay job, touch wood, at the moment, as this one is an attempt at the Yorker to Blinkhorn Jones. It gets her off the mark as she clips into the leg side. Will pick up 2. It was just slightly too much into the toes in the end and allow Blinkhorn Jones to manoeuvre her feet and manoeuvre the ball. She's off the mark on to 2. 89 for 4 is the score. So yeah, Schofield on that opening day of the season against Thunder came 2, 3, 4, 5 that day. So this is faith in Blinkhorn Jones, really, to put her in at this
definitely.
stage.
I think it's a great opportunity for a younger player like herself to come in and prove a point. Similar to Teresa, I guess. If you can come in now and really prove yourself, you're in great stead for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I guess you have to take those opportunities when they come along. If you're somebody like Blinkhorn Jones, she cut the last one to cover and didn't score. What will she do with this? Out, bowled, went for the drive. It just seemed to jag ever so slightly back off the seam. It knocks middle stump back. The bails go everywhere. Blinkhorn-Jones is out for just the 2 runs. 89 for 5. We've got a real game on here, Bear.
Yeah, definitely. Sophie looking to pitch that ball up a little bit more than what she has done. It's proven successful. Probably a little bit of a lack of foot movement there from Blinkhorn-Jones. But yeah, as we've seen a little bit of seam movement from Sophie Monroe. And another wicket down for the Stars. And that brings Schofield out to bat now.
So, comes in at 7. As I say, 2 lower than the first game of the season where she made the 100 against Thunder. Spectacular one that led to a big win that day, a bonus point win. And bonus points, they're an interesting dynamic to this competition. Don't think we're going to see a bonus point today at the rate things are going. Although, I suppose, given its on run rate, if Stars get there, they might get one. I guess that's the thing they could. But it's going to be a close finish because 5 down already. Okay, they're past halfway, but they're relying on the weaker half of the batting to get the remaining runs here.
Yeah, exactly. I think Blaze will be quite happy with this position right now. 5 wickets down. I think clearly it's showing that the pitch has got something in it for the bowlers, so they should be quite excited coming on and being asked to bowl.
Monroe brought into the attack to get the wicket. She's got it. Can she double up? No, it's a neat defensive stroke from Schofield, who has 7 on her back, is batting number 7 and just marks her guard purposefully as if she knows exactly what's required. 28 overs left, 158 the total, 89 of them scored so far. As the trees behind the score box, that's their turn to wave in the wind.
Yeah, it just feels like the wind's picking up maybe a little bit more now. A few more clouds in the sky. Nothing too dangerous there, I wouldn't have thought so.
A little bit of a chill, though, comes with that wind, it has to be said. But again, nothing that will worry us too much at this stage. Settling now, then, is Brits. She has 48. If she stays there, the South East Stars win. Bryce trying to get her out. She goes back to Bryce. Never go back to Bryce, as they say. 89 for 5.
Yeah. Just feel like you're always in the game if someone who doesn't tend to get much bounce and someone's going back to it is quite promising.
Yeah, it definitely gets the Blaze fielders excited as this time Brits is forward. Better shot, pushes up to long off, on to 49, 1 to the total. 90 scored, 68 more required. Schofield purposefully marking that guard again. As we say, 100 against Australia A at Grace Road, one of the Blazers' venues, of course, representing Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire and Leicestershire, the whole of the East Midlands. Other side in orange. Edge short to Boyce. No, I think she got her hands under it, but couldn't cling on. It was a little tentative sort of twiddle almost. It was almost a leading edge. She's kind of played towards the leg side. The ball seemed to actually nip away from Catherine Bryce there. And Boyce just was so close to clinging on, but couldn't.
Yeah, brilliant effort there from Boise.
Nottingham-born slip fielder couldn't cling on. This one's Yorker length, hit up to mid-off.
Came a bit quicker off the bat than I think she would have thought it would as well.
And I guess the shape of the shot as well. She looked like she was going leg side. It was an unusual sort of, it wasn't a genuine kind of outside edge playing towards the offside that you might expect. But it was still a chance. This time goes for almost like a leg spinner, it seemed, from Catherine Bryce, albeit off a long run. So it still has some pace to it. But I don't know if that's one of her slower balls, but that's what it looked like from here.
Yeah, Brycey's quite an experienced bowler. She's got a few different variations. Leg cutter, she probably uses a lot, which I think will be quite successful on this pitch.
It was a full roll of the wrist, that one, though, wasn't it? You could noticeably see it. It was similar again, and it's gone off the top edge, and Boyce is going to have to chase from slip down towards the boundary. Gets help from Ballinger, who comes round in the end from third, but
Yeah, that was another cutter again.
and another leading edge. This time it goes over the top of the keeper. So 2 edges from Schofield to get her going. She's on to 2, 92 for 5. The Blaze need 5 wickets. They only have the 50. Sorry, yeah, they only have the what? So 68, so 66 runs left now for the Southeast Stars to get. And it looks like if they're going to get there, certainly from the Schofield point of view, there might be 1 or 2 chances.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've just seen at the back end of that over, Catherine Bryce with a couple of variations, proving to play a couple chances. So I think Sophie Monroe will be looking at a few variations here, a few back of the hands, definitely a few slower balls.
And Kirsty Gordon has very carefully spotted that she had too many outside the ring and shouted, "Stop, stop, stop," as Monroe ran in. Monroe did abort just in the nick of time, and the Blaze are back to their full complement inside the ring. Mid-on, mid-off, extra cover, conventional cover, and backward point. Monroe bowls, and it goes over the top of the mid-on for 6. Lovely shot. And that is a magnificent 50 from Brits. She waves her bat in the direction of the applauding Southeast Stars players. No doubt 1 or 2 applauding who are spectating here, because that's been a magnificent innings, Beth Harmer.
Yeah, it has.
Brits has 55.
Yeah, she's backed excellently. I said earlier on in the innings to have a player that can have brute force and able to clear the ropes easily, but also play those cheeky little fine shots. It just shows the depth of their team, and she's batted very well today.
I'll bring you the analysis of it in just a moment as Brits defends her next ball up to mid-on. Oh, it's beaten mid-on, and this is going to roll away. It was no more than a prod. It's gone all the way to the boundary and is brilliantly fielded. Excellent bit of work by the captain, Kirsty Gordon, who knows there's a game on here and knows that she wants to be on the winning side of it. They get back for 3 in the end. 3.
Yeah,
so that brings up the 100. 101 for 5 for the Southeast Stars. As I say, it was a defensive stroke, really. Went quick off the bat, beat the dive of Kelly at mid-on, and left Gordon chasing to the boundary and did really well to get there in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was probably a better ball than the one before from Sophie Monroe, one before just in Brit's block.
Here comes Monroe. Bowls, it's edged and over the top, and Schofield has been streaky here and will get 4 more. 105 for 5, and Schofield is, well, there she was definitely chancing her arm. I think the previous 2 were just genuine edges where she was playing leg side and the ball went off the edge to the offside.
Yeah, I think sometimes you've got to chance your luck and go with it. Sometimes I think if you've got that opportunity, got to make full use of it.
Well, she has that. You can't, I suppose you can't fault it in some ways. If it brings a boundary, it brings a boundary. But it's been a messy innings, if we're honest, from Schofield so far. She has 6. Monroe approaching again, trying to get the wicket. Short of length, late cut this time. Best shot of the innings so far. Brings 1 down to 3rd. 106 for 5.
Yeah, much more control over that shot. Knew exactly where she was hitting it.
I mean, if you're one of those batters still to come in, that's what you want to see from Schofield. You want to see just a kind of measured late cut, perfectly in control. But
yeah, well, they don't need to do anything else. Still got plenty of time to only get 53, I believe.
Brits looks comfy at the crease. Why shouldn't she? She's got 55. Make that 56 at least. She hooks this one away down to Heyhoe at backward square leg. Haven't seen Heyhoe so far.
Yeah,
surprised?
I think it's really difficult because I think obviously the way Brits liked Kirsty earlier on, you would have thought that she'd also take a liking to Lucy's bowling. You just never know. I think if it
would be coming into the arc, wouldn't it? As Monroe bowls again, it's clipped off the toes. There are fielders back, and Heyhoe makes the ground. Doesn't pick up cleanly, but they were already through for 2 in truth. Another 2 added to the total then. 109 for 5. So they're within 50.
Yeah, I think it's a case of if you was to give Lucy one now and Brits does take a liking, then you've probably lost the game.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be keep sticking with what's going well at the minute. And if that doesn't prove a breakthrough in the next couple overs, then look to change. We haven't seen Teresa Graves yet. She's someone that bowls little medium paces, gets the ball to move off the seam both ways. So I think actually that could have been quite effective on this pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's in those sorts of bowlers, hasn't it, that have done well. Although, I suppose, McDonald Gay did okay in the first innings. You had Davis is a bit quicker than that, really. But there's just life there. There's nibble there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
109 for 5. I've had 22 overs. And Catherine Bryce is bowling to Brits, who hits into the leg side. They're going to take 1. Will they come back for 2? Schofield decides against it.
It's got very long levers, Brits has.
It's interesting because I was saying to Schofield, she batted at 5 in the first game, got 100, then batted 3 in the second game and got 2. So she's kind of mixed around her. Oh, and in fact, that was a Charlotte Edwards Cup game. She came in at 3. As in comes Catherine Bryce. Hit away into the offside. That one's going to roll away for 4 runs by the looks of things. And this is what's hurting the Blaze at the moment. The boundaries are just flowing. And it's off the bat of Schofield on this occasion. She's into double figures. 114 for 5. 158 the target for victory. This seems to be all stars now, despite the fact that they lost 3 in the power play, then a couple in quick succession. It looks as if these two are in control. Catherine Bryce bowling, slower ball, clipped into the leg side, picked up by Gordon, no run.
Yeah, I think Catherine just a bit loose, too much width on that previous ball. She does swing the ball a lot, but clearly in that case it didn't do as much as what she'd hoped for.
Bowling again, right on over the wicket. This time it seemed to be the one that she was looking to dart away from Schofield, who respectfully prods back. Boyce has been brought from slip into the leg side as we approach the end of the over, the 23rd of the innings. Reminder, only 48 to chase him, but I don't think that's going to be the deciding factor in this game. An attempt to absolutely clobber that from Schofield. Misses it, hits her on the toe of the back leg, but going down the leg side.
Yeah, that's your luck sometimes, isn't it? How many times would that go on to hit the stumps?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
As Gordon makes her way back. But she's clearly trying to get outside the leg stump to play that. On this occasion, looks to dab, finds Kelly. No run there. 114 for 5. Again, the Blaze, as they have been for much of this innings, in need of a wicket.
Yeah, I think, like we've said, they had a really good start. 3 wickets in the power play, you'd still be very much in it. But as Brits is now, she's on 60. She's looking really good, looking very comfortable out there. Paige now on 13. Not looking as comfortable, but still managing to find a way.
Good to see more of you joining. Myself, Mike Perkins and Beth Harmer with you on the Blaze Cricket YouTube stream. And Nadine de Klerk being brought back on. Do hit the thumbs up button if you've just joined us to help others find us as you have here. And you're in for a intriguing finish to this game. I think Stars looking the favourite here. 44 more to win. Target of 158. But a couple of wickets now, as we were just saying there.
Yeah, I think now you probably go to your death plan.
Okay.
Look at taking a few wickets. A lot more variations, which Nadine de Klerk does very well. She's bowled excellently at the back end for us, so I think she'll be looking to bowl a few different balls now, and really looking for that key wicket of Brits.
So is it sort of bounce a Yorker, and if it's length, it's got to be pace off, and
I would say
one of your slower balls, yeah.
And looking at this field, it looks like she's going to do that. Aim for the legs of Brits, as you've got a leg side boundary out.
Delivered now, right on over the wicket. It's bouncer this time, and it's clapped away. It's a great shot. Really hit hard out towards the mid-wicket boundary. The arm is waved from one side to the other, 118 for 5. And we said it fairly early on in Brits' innings, if they don't get her, this game's done.
Yeah, I know Nadine got the wicket of, I think, Freya Kemp last week with a bouncer, so she'll be looking to do that again. But obviously, Brits, it's quite a tool.
It was a quick one, but it was as if Brits was expecting it. This time it's Yorker length. Played again into the leg side, out to a straight mid-wicket. Marie Kelly comes round from long on, keeps it to 2, 120 for 5. I think de Klerk knows it, doesn't it? She knows she's got to win this battle if the Blaze win this game.
Yeah, she does. She'll be definitely trying her best here. She wants the best for this team, so.
And she'd love to win this battle, wouldn't she?
She would love to, yeah.
Bowls again. Again going for the Yorker. This one's going to end up in the gazebo. It nips up off the top of the rope. Beth Harmer, I'm going to let you go and retrieve that one from the commentary gazebo here. It was hit very, very hard. 4 runs is the crucial detail. 124 for 5. Kirsty Gordon comes down to offer some sort of protection. Thank you, Beth Harmer. Well, it's your day off, really, isn't it? You're not playing today, but you're certainly doing the fielding here in the commentary box because I'm useless. Slower ball this time from de Klerk. Went for almost like the leg spinner, a little bit like Catherine Bryce does. It was hit into the leg side by Brits. I think was a bit disappointed not to get more of it given the form she's in. She's on to 71. I doubt she'll get the 100 today. She got 112 in her previous innings against the Sunrisers in this competition, just her second for the South East Stars. But actually, this 71 not out to see her team through is looking very crucial. De Klerk bowls full and straight. It skips off the turf just in front of Boyce, who's disappointed not to stop that leaving the ring. Gordon is covering, and another couple to the total, 127 for 5. That was unfortunate for de Klerk. She stopped it with her foot and it popped up into her face. Oh, well.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't know if that was a bit of a double bluff from Nadine there. She sent the back four out and bowled a fairly full straight ball.
Here she goes again. Still got the most of them out on the leg side. So pace-off delivery there. Short of the length. It was cut, but no run. 127 for 5. Business end of this game now, Beth Harmer.
Yeah, it is. I think we'll be seeing potentially a bowling change at the far end. Not sure who it's going to be. But yeah, it's a really key moment. Would have thought Paige has now kind of settled herself in on 15.
Is it the skipper coming back on here? She's walking towards that end.
I believe it is, yeah.
Gives the cap to the umpire, so it is Kirsty Gordon. Got a little bit of tap bowling from the spine cop end here at the John Fretwell Sports Complex. Charlie French end now for Kirsty Gordon. You can see the breeze now ruffling the players' shirts. You can probably see it ruffling our commentary position. And I thought we were going to get the ball in here. At least it wasn't a 6.
Yeah.
Because that could have been more messy for us. That might have knocked the stream off if it had hit the laptop. There's a reverse sweep over the fielder at backward point. Graves, who made 56, chases hard and tries to maintain as many of those runs, which really the South East Stars are into chasing that. If that's the last chunk of the innings, that 56 that Graves made, they're chasing that now. And they're on to 129, chasing 158.
Yeah, good little reverse hit there from Brits. She's clearly really enjoying her innings. Having the freedom to play whatever she wants.
29 more needed. Add that to 73. You just about get there for the 100. As that one is hit down the ground.
Oh,
and
that's a brilliant effort.
It's been stopped well, and again has to be stopped twice. So the fielder dived to her left. We'll identify them for the great
Nadine.
work. It is Nadine de Klerk.
Could only be one person.
Stopped it. It went spilling off from the long on position to the long off position. So she got up again, chased it again. It was about to roll over the boundary, dived again to flick it back in.
Dived again.
And
saved one run.
Eventually got the ball back in. 3 taken. Brits has 76. and the runs required now falls to 26.
Yeah, so I think Kirsty's just going for a really aggressive field here, putting a slip in, really looking for that wicket.
So if Schofield scores more than 2, Brits can't get the 100. This is
Oh,
up in
get
the air.
there.
She could be out. Heyhoe can't
Oh.
chase back. It will be 2 to Schofield. So 24 more needed. Exactly what Brits needs for her century, but I don't think she'll care one bit as long as she walks off a winner here.
Yeah, another chance there.
Still
Full
an
safe.
intriguing game of Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy cricket here. Chase 40 overs today due to a little bit of rain. Attempted the reverse sweep from Schofield, who, as well as Brits is timing the ball, Schofield is struggling at times, it's fair to say.
Yeah, she's had a few chances, but she's still in there regardless.
Details of that Brits 50, I promised Joe. This one's gone up in the air. Now, can Boyce get back? She can.
It's Marie.
Oh, it's Marie Kelly, in fact, who'd gone to slip. And she takes a comfortable catch in the end. Big top edge from Schofield. The dismissal was coming, really, there, Beth Harmer.
Yeah.
We'd seen leading edges, top edges. But actually, a quick 17 there. She may well have done the damage.
Yeah, definitely. Paige has offered a few chances, and unfortunately, none of them have fallen to hand. But Marie takes a good catch there, running to her left at slip. So I think the girls will just be looking to get the new batter on strike here. Really trying to avoid giving Brits the strike. But yeah, keeping that tight line and just being really aggressive with the field, you know.
In fact, according to our score, I think Schofield may have been robbed a couple up on the board there, which says 17. It's 19 according to the official scorecard for this game. So we'll await clarification on that. But either 17 or 19 for Schofield. Either way, she's done a bit of the damage there, which needed to be done. They will require another batter, though. It's going to be Kalia Moore, is it, or McDonald Gay?
McDonald Gay, yeah. Again, has England A experience, played against Australia in a few of the warm-up games. So just another player with a bit of experience.
I mean, if that doesn't get you informed, nothing will, I suppose.
Yeah.
And as opposed to Kirsty Gordon, okay, Brits again getting her away, and that's ultimately probably what's going to decide this game. But she's come on to bowl and she's picked up a wicket, so justified in that sense.
Yeah, Kirsty's one of them that you always think she's close to taking a wicket. Just her fight that she shows with the ball. You always think you're in it. So, yeah, good little pickup from her there.
Another bothersome insect is waved away from the commentary position as this one is played into the offside by McDonald Gay. Return to Bryce for no run from backward point. And Kelly with the catch then in that over, dismissing Paige Schofield, who was out for, I think, 19, certainly according to the website that the scorers update. That's what she got. We've promised you details as well of Tamsin Britt's 50 runs, which came up in 43 balls in 61 minutes. It included 7 fours and 3 magnificently struck sixes.
Yeah.
Including one to bring up the milestone.
Yeah.
Probably the best of the lot.
Yeah, I think it's not exactly a small boundary here either. So.
I was just about to say that. The rope's a fair way out. In comes Nadine de Klerk, looking to get Brits, who leaves outside the off stump.
Good slower ball there.
When you've gone to your 50 and 43 balls or whatever it was, you can leave 1 or 2 if you fancy it. Yeah, 43 balls it was for that 50. A minute over an hour it took her. And that ultimately is what is settling this game at the moment as we approach 4:30 on what's now a sunny, albeit windy afternoon here at Welbeck. Attempts to cut that. Did she get any bat? We'll find out in a moment from the umpire. No, it's 4 byes. It was difficult for Bryce because it was a wide Yorker that Brits attempted to sort of get back and cut, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
And she ended up just being right in Sarah Bryce's way. So even though she didn't get bat on ball, it goes for 4 byes.
Yeah, it looked like she almost left it at the last point. Maybe a bit of mind games there, making it difficult for Sarah Bryce, but nonetheless, it's pretty well bowled from Nadine de Klerk there.
Would that not be obstruction of the field? Wishful thinking. According to this, Well, I think I've been royally done here because Schofield, according to this, now has 12, not 19.
Oh
She had
goodness.
19 not out. She's now out for 12, caught by Kelly, bowled by Gordon, as Brits plays this one for 1 down the ground to mid-off. And the score moves on to 139 for 6. And this says Brits has got 85 or 57 now.
Oh goodness.
So 86 with that.
Right.
So I'm a little sceptical of what my phone's telling me at the moment, I have to be honest. And the board says 77, which would obviously make things intriguing with 19 left to win, although she'd come up 1 short now. 2 short, in fact. So I don't know quite what to trust at this stage, but there we go. We'll if they celebrate in the Southeast Stars dugout, we'll know she's got 100.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what I'm looking at on my phone says 85 or 57 balls. So we will see anyway. That will all be decided in the wash. The most important thing is the score's 139 for 6. The target's 158. It just doesn't feel enough runs at the moment.
It doesn't. No, the umpires are just chatting here. But yeah, I think at the start of the day, you would have thought there's a bit in it on the wicket for a bowler, but you would still be looking at 220 at least, maybe 240. So I think the Blaze will feel like they were quite short on this occasion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it feels a 240
Yeah.
pitch. I think you'd be going some to get that. I think maybe it was a 200 or 220 today,
Yeah.
but it's certainly not a 158, which is what
yeah.
the Blaze ended up with. 56 for Graves was the top score of the innings, and that's very much all the Blaze really got. A couple in double figures. Sarah Bryce, most notably. Kirk got 10. De Klerk got 10. 13 for Hyam at the back end. 15 for Munro. But it was drips and drabs other than the 56 that was superbly struck by Teresa Graves. In comes Nadine de Klerk. Looks to flick on the leg side, does McDonald Gay. Doesn't make contact. No wide, so maybe got a brush of pad on the way down.
Yeah, Nadine.
Oh no, it did get a. It was wide balled. It was just a very subtle signal. 140 for 6.
Oh, okay.
So 18 more required for victory. We won't need the 48 overs that Southeast Stars have. It would probably take 4 wickets, almost in 4 balls here. It feels as that full toss was pattered back to the bowler. It's gone back to 139 for 6, so maybe it wasn't a wide after all. There we go.
I think Nadine looked at her teammate there to ask if it was.
Yeah, strange one.
Kind of a confused face.
I think perhaps the scorer thought it was and just hit the button and it's gone back now as de Klerk bowls a really loopy leg spinner that is a no ball. And that will take the score to 140 for 6. That will leave 18 to win, despite de Klerk having hands on hips. And now a little discussion will take place because we have a free hit. Just really came out wrong, that one.
Yeah, it looked probably more wide than a no ball, to be fair. But yeah, Nadine looks quite frustrated, so probably looking to take the pace off this ball again. It's got
umpire Banbury winds up the siren as the whirly signal goes, and we have a free hit. Field can't change, of course, because the batters didn't change ends. McDonald Gay to face it, de Klerk to deliver it, and it's bowled, but it won't count. 140 for 6 it remains, despite de Klerk bowling probably her best ball of the over there, really, and getting no reward for it.
Yeah, good finish from her there. She'll be frustrated with that extra ball. But Kirsty Gordon looking to try and get another over for herself here. Take another crucial wicket.
Yeah, and they are all important, particularly in this kind of professionalised era. And we say professionalised because it still is professionalising. There's still a way to go in terms of players' wages and contracts and all that kind of thing. However, it's kind of, these wickets will be the sorts of things that in 10, 15 years we're looking back on as, you know, this is the this is the era where it all started. And do you think it has made a difference to England this summer? I mean, they obviously came very close in the Test match, then couldn't get victory there, which set them on the back foot for the series, but they clawed it back to level before that agonising defeat yesterday. Has the domestic
Yeah.
structure had an impact? You can tell me after this ball from Kirsty Gordon, which is short and is hacked away by Tamsin Brits into the leg side. 141 for 6. Tasman Brits going along very nicely. 78 is her total on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think it has. I think, you even look at England A playing against Australia first team, and they have had a few wins and a few regional players like Paige and Kirsty bowling really well. Just shows the standard that we're at.
Gordon bowls, pushed into the offside. And it's such a brilliant side to try and compete with
Yeah,
at the international level. I mean, I think they
yeah,
will go down as one of the greatest cricket teams, men's or women's, in history. As 141 for 6 is the score, and this one is pushed away, and there will be runs this time after the dot from the previous ball through extra cover. Is it going to go all the way for 4? It teases Munro all the way, but will be 4. 145 the total moves on to. It's another neat stroke, but this time from the bat of McDonald Gay.
yeah. I think it shows the depth that we've got in this country right now. Having playing against internationals every week, it just shows that you can be at that level more often.
Here's Gordon bowls. Had that lovely loop that a left armer can get, and then just dipped at the last moment, driven to Heyhoe at extra cover. A dot ball. But as we've seen, it's a risky business bowling that ball, because if the batter does get hold of it, it can go either side of that extra cover fielder. Lovely turn from Gordon. It's always there with Gordon, just one that can turn past the edge of the bat, as that did. Neatly taken by Bryce. No run on offer, but McDonald Gay is still there. Waits again. Pushes offside. Doesn't get a run. 145 for 6. We've had 27 overs.
Yeah, and it looks like Grace Ballinger's going to come back onto bowl. She, again, a very good bowler at the death, has clear plans of what she wants to bowl and who she wants out. So I think she'll be looking to execute those plans right now.
Not a bad option from the spine cop end at this stage. Only 13 left to win. So if you are going to win, it's going to have to be something remarkable. And you may as well go to a bowler like Grace Ballinger, who potentially could produce something absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, definitely. I think he'll have to be very aggressive with these fields to make something happen. But that's nothing that Grace Ballinger will shy away from. She loves the challenge. These challenging situations really shape a player. So it's days like this where you actually probably get the most out of your cricket in good competitive matches. So
brilliant to have had plenty of you with us this afternoon. Plenty of you hitting the thumbs up button. 53 of you have done that. It does help people find us, so thank you very much. Sorry we haven't been able to bring you the pictures of the action itself as we usually like to, but I'm glad we've been able to at least bring you a commentary here today from this outground here at Welbeck, and the staff have done a really good job of sort of making the teams feel welcome and preparing the pitch and all that kind of thing. As in comes Ballinger and bowls outside the off stump, it's hit down the ground on the leg side. Up comes Kirk, who got that run out to start the wickets in this innings. She's down at long on now, which is perhaps a sign of where we're at in the game. 12 more needed to win. Target revised slightly by Duckworth, Lewis and Stern. Just 48 overs to chase that 158. The Blaze made 159 all out in their innings. Graves the top scorer, but I think the thing the Blaze will look back on is only batting 46.2 of their overs.
I think the likes of Boise and Catherine Bryce, if players like that could have maybe scored double figures, you then got another 20 more on the board to work with. Building little partnerships are always going to help you out, and that's one thing we probably didn't do our best today.
Yeah, as I say, I feel 200 have been really interesting, but I mean, even with Brits there, you feel they'd have chased that. That one just was a late cut just short of the slip fielder Boyce and away underneath her for a single. Risky shot from McDonald Gay, but brings 147 for 6, 11 to win.
Yeah, you would think, in another match they've got another 23 overs left. So
yes, yeah.
So when you think of it that way, they're already on 150. It's obviously 6 down as well. But
here's Brits looking to end in style. Hits it high into the air and will be caught. No, down it goes from Heyhoe out at mid wicket, and Brits gets a life. Her score moves on to 80 on the scoreboard, 148 for 6. And, well, it's the first one she's not caught fully clean and cleared the ropes, but
I think
it was a tough chance in the sense that it had travelled a distance, but it really should have been taken.
Yeah, I think Lucy will be quite disappointed there. She's would back herself to take that 10 out of 10. Another one
This
high
one's
on the
gone
bat.
in the air, just short of the fielder. McDonald Gay this time. The batter who just couldn't really get in a position to play the pull stroke. Goes up in the air, out towards mid-wicket, and those are probably the margins. That could have been your 2 and 2 balls there.
2 and 2, yeah. And I think Grace Ballinger would be feeling that right now. She bowled excellently these last couple of balls, making something happen out of nothing. So I can imagine her frustration right now.
I think I can clarify the scorecard confusion earlier. Schofield did have 17 caught by Kelly Bowles-Gordon, 4 for McDonald Gay, who is, or 5 now, as she faces up, and that one skips by outside the off stump, and Brits is back down to a 78, which, well, 80 now.
Yeah.
Because obviously the scorecard on the phone's slightly behind, so it hasn't included those last 2 runs, but that's back to more where we were expecting it. So I think that 148 for 6 with Brits on 80 is about right now.
How different could it have been there if that catch could have been taken?
Yeah, well, it would have put a bit of pressure on, wouldn't it? It would have
Yeah.
brought number 9 out here to join number 8, and who knows? But McDonald Gay faces up, orderly in defence. Knows she just has to really let Brits knock off these last 10 runs.
Yeah.
With plenty of overs in hand, 20 of them to be precise. And we've had a good afternoon here at Welbeck as we tick up towards 5 o'clock. But if you're just sneaking out of work ever so slightly early and sticking on the stream to see what's happened, sorry we're not bringing you in quite full Technicolor, but what we can tell you is that the South East Stars look on course for victory. Just 10 runs away. The Blaze would need 4 wickets to stop them.
Yeah, that was a brilliant over from Grace as well. Just a few coming from it, and obviously a couple of chances in that as well. So I'm sure she'll be happy with that over. As Lucy Heyhoe actually now comes on to bowl as well.
I was going to say poor Lucy Heyhoe, because she obviously didn't cling on to that catch that she would have expected to, and then having not been given a bowls brought on with 10 to win. But I guess the feeling is Brits is either going to walk past one here or club at the 10 runs she needs. So it's worth the risk, because if she does walk past one, then you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
The game could be back on. And I don't think Brits is going to disappoint us by blocking this out. She does defend the first one off the back foot. I think that was more to have a look than maybe gauge the couple of paces she needs to get down the track here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, mid-off is up, so I'm sure she'll be eyeing up that straight boundary.
Heyhoe will be taking everything off it. Down the track does go Brits. Just pushes, though, into the offside, because she wasn't quite where she needed to be, but she's sizing it up, isn't she? 148 for 6. 10 needed for victory. Brits from the crease goes for the sweep. Sweeps it hard. Finds a fielder, though, in the form of Boyce from backward square leg. 149 for 6. Heyhoe will really not want to go for those winning runs. It'll be an element of professional pride.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always tough coming on with only 11 needed to win.
As we say, she's had her day in the competition already at Trent Bridge, taking 19 for 5 and winning that game against Sparks. Must be great to do it on a venue like that as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Beth Harmer, part of the Blaze squad, alongside myself, Mike Perkins. Big appeal for LBW. What does the umpire think? Perhaps getting outside the line of off stump. McDonald Gay there. Maybe a bit of bat, who knows? But not out is the decision. Still chatter from the Blaze players, but the buzz that was around after the run out and then Chatley getting out to Ballinger in the same over has dissipated somewhat now. Dot ball there behind square. It was worked by McDonald Gay on the leg side. Britt's marvellous 81 not out so far. It's been the difference between the sides, really. It's what you pay your overseas for, and she's been very good. As Heyhoe bowls, it's down the leg side. It'll be a wide, which will almost be a disappointment, you would imagine, to Brits at this stage to be robbed of one with an extra. You sort of want to finish it clean at this stage, don't you? You don't want one of the 9 runs remaining to tick away like that. Just 8 more required now. Ballinger moves a couple of yards to her left. Heyhoe floats it up. McDonald Gay, I think, is probably playing for the not out at this stage.
Yeah.
Because
There's
nothing really to be gained for her by
no.
trying to wallop a 6 at this stage. You wouldn't have thought, other than a little bit of pride, a bit of a chance to sort of beat the badge and
batting practice.
Show what you can do. Tamsin Brits then on her way to the striker's end, sweeps away a couple of bits of dust and dirt on her way. But Ballinger to Brits. Is she going to stick it up her nose, do you reckon?
No, Gracie won't.
No.
She'll just look to bowl into the pads, a few Yorkers, slow ball variations.
I think it's in her half. Brit's going to try and hit this back over her head. It is short of length and it's pulled away and goes for 4. And that is a big chunk of what's left that's required, half of what's left for the South East Stars to get. They're within 4 now, 158 the target. They have 154 of them. Might
be 159 target if it. Don't know if that says first innings.
Well, certainly if this this scorecard I've been looking at online is correct, it was saying 158 of 48. We will see as Ballinger bowls. It's hit up in the air. Now this could be caught by Kirsty Gordon and is. Really well judged catch. So Brits is out for a superbly made 85, just 4 runs short of the victory target. Those runs should, you imagine, be a formality. But Kirsty Gordon with the catch, Grace Ballinger with the bowling.
Well deserved.
Tasman Brits 85. What do you say about that innings?
Yeah, well, brilliant innings first and foremost. I think she definitely made the difference in this. You think if Blaze could have got her out cheaply, and it's looking like a completely different match. But yeah, full credit to her taking advantage of everything that was in her half and backing herself and her shots, but also respecting the good balls that the Blaze have bowled today. I think credit to Grace there. She probably deserved that wicket. Bowled very well the last couple overs. That brings out Callie Moore.
Yep, on her way to join McDonald Gay. They have a little chat on their way past. It is 159 of 48.
Okay.
Just recheck, so it is 5 to win. So, 5 more then for these pair to get. But it was all about Tasman Brits here. Will confirm her total shortly. But, superb innings from the South African international who made 100 in the previous game and has followed that up here with a excellent 85 at the John Fretwell Sports Centre here in Mansfield or Nettleworth or Welbeck Cricket Club, however you want to refer to it. It gets referred to in different ways, I found. But either way, we're just north of Mansfield here in England, and there are 5 more runs required with 3 wickets remaining. Another one now and something extraordinary could happen.
It could, yeah.
You would expect the Stars every time to just find a way home. The field's been brought in by Kirsty Gordon quite rightly. She's got a short cover, a slip and a gully now, even though we're in the 29th over of a one-day innings. Quite an unusual field, but it's because there's 5 to win. It's popped out in the direction of Heyhoe off the front foot, full of length delivery. Nothing on offer for the batter, who's new to the crease.
Yeah, this is a situation that Grace would love to be in, bowling. She loves a pressure situation. She wants to be that person to bring the side home. So
Well, 3 wickets with 5 runs remaining is certainly a challenge, as that one's through to Bryce, stood up to the stumps. Little word with umpire Banbury there on the way past. I think maybe telling her she's right on a limit in, I'm not sure if it was the wide respect or where her foot was landing, but just a careful word from the umpire. Clouds now unthreatening across the sky, being blown from left to right as we look, and it's through again to the gloves of Sarah Bryce. And though the Blaze, I think, know where the game's going, there is a little final little challenge they've set themselves to just see how long they can stretch these 5 runs out for. Field in the distance illuminated by sunshine still, but we're under the blanket of cloud at the moment. Ballinger comes in, blowing it in favour of her swing, beats the outside edge again, and Kalia Moore almost looking like somebody who didn't particularly want to come out at this stage with 5 to win, with obviously not a massive amount to gain for her.
Yeah, no, another brilliant over from Grace there. So tough. Cricket's a lot of what ifs. If they potentially could have got Brits out a bit sooner, taken our chances a little bit better, then who knows what could have happened.
Well, it's Ballinger who got rid of her eventually, caught by the captain, Kirsty Gordon. 85 made by Tasmin Brits. Off 63 balls, it took 100 minutes, and she hit 10 fours and 3 sixes, including one to bring up her 50. A very, very fine innings indeed.
Yeah.
It's been great to be able to bring it to you on the Blaze YouTube stream. Beth Harmer, Blaze cricketer, alongside myself, Mike Perkins here. A little bit of wind, a little bit of sunshine in the distance still here. And it may even just greet us at the end of this game, illuminating that grass just slightly brighter green. It's a very Nottinghamshire club, this, isn't it, with all the green around?
Yeah.
You feel almost as if you could be in Sherwood Forest or something like that, don't you?
Yeah, well, Lucy Harm's been taken off and Kirsty Gordon's back on to bowl.
Just trying to put a final bit of pressure on as the captain. It's defended back to her by McDonald Gay.
This must be her last over anyway, I could imagine. I would have thought so.
No, she only had 6 according to this.
Oh, gosh.
Bowls again. Clipped away into the offside, off the back foot with a little twiddle of the bat. Finds cover. Sophie Munro's there. So we've only had 30 overs, haven't we? So I guess it's only de Klerk who's got close to bowling out with 8 as McDonald Gay just pushes up to Heyhoe for no run. Heyhoe just the 1 over for 2 runs. Gordon so far has gone for 41 for 2. Was attacked by Brits who tried to hit the captain out the attack, and it worked for her. She got 85 in the end. That was prodded to mid-on for no run. 154 for 7. Gordon just wipes her brow and then tucks a piece of hair behind her ear. Contemplates her fielding change and sends Munro back to the cover boundary. McDonald Gay on strike. 5 needed. Down the pitch she comes. Appeal for LBW. She was advancing, so it seems unlikely. It costs the Blaze a leg bye, which is precious at this point because there is now just the 4 required for victory.
Yeah, another desperate appeal there from Kirsty and the girls.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Moore back on strike, though. Has looked tentative at best. Raises a bat above the stumps. Defends into the offside. It's a dipping ball from Gordon. Brings the over to a close. They're eking out these last few runs.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
But they are going to get there. They've got into a position where they can eke them out if they have to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just a case of blocking out that good ball and taking advantage of the the one that's got a bit of width on it, or a bit full.
It'll be the first defeat of the season for the Blaze if they can't pull off something extraordinary here.
Yeah.
But the season as a whole, Charlotte Edwards Cup final, okay, it ended in defeat, but also they seem on course for the final here. We're going into one more game before the next little break for the 100. Has this season exceeded even the players' expectations so far?
Yeah, I mean,
You'll get your full thoughts after Ballinger delivers this one. Through to Sarah Bryce, who's appealing for caught behind. All the Blaze players thought so. Umpire Banbury scratched her head, which would have been rather worrying for the batter, but didn't signal out.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously go into every game wanting to win. But I guess if in professional sports, it's unlikely that you're going to win every single game of the season. And I think going into the T20s without losing a game, it was a case of, oh, it might happen.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you want to go and win, but we haven't lost all year.
Here's Ballinger again, left arm over, bowling and driven into the offside. That could have been it, but it was stopped at cover by de Klerk, who I think was quite nervous with the bouncing ball that it could have beaten her there, but it didn't. 155 for 7-4 to win.
Yeah, and it's the thing with obviously the positives of winning most games. You're on a roll and you're feeling great, but also a lot of your learning comes from the games you lose. So I think this.
Ballinger bowls through outside the off stump. Bryce, marvellous take again. Gordon down on one knee, just contemplating things because that was close again.
Yeah, I think we can learn a lot. You learn a lot from your defeats. So I think the girls will be able to go back to the drawing board and really depict what went well today and what clearly could have gone a bit better. And yeah, that's when you develop the most as a cricketer. So.
And will it be how to go about it at the top of the innings? Because ultimately they just lost too many too early, didn't they? 60 odd for 6 eventually. Good catch at gully.
That's a great
really,
grab.
really good catch.
Michaela
Tumbling
Kirk.
away to her left-hand side was Michaela Kirk. It's off the bowling of Grace Ballinger. It's another wicket. And, well, it should happen every time here. It's just 4 to win. But the Stars are making a real meal of it. And I feel 1 or 2, it might have drifted away. It might sort of see another wicket and just be tuning back here. Do make sure you hit the thumbs up if you do, because we've got a tense finish on our hands. It's another discussion between a departing batter and a replacement. McDonald Gay is out, caught by Michaela Kirk off the bowling of Grace Ballinger. Outside edge into the gully. It went fast. Beth Harmer, your thoughts? Is it still on? 2 wickets needed.
Yeah, I mean, the girls will be fired up, you know. They'll back themselves to bowl the best ball. But you can tell the last few overs they've gone for very little to no runs at all. So it takes 2 balls. Balls to get those 2 wickets. So
Gregory, he's not a prolific run scorer, it's fair to say. I saw her share I think it's still the best last wicket partnership in this competition with Lauren Smith, the Australian, at Southport last season it was. So she can defend, but perhaps that's the main thing she's likely to do with the bat. Davis is a tall figure, bowled very well earlier on, but batting perhaps not her stronger suit. She's facing up to Grace Ballinger. Could we be in for a dramatic finish here? Ballinger bowling. The Blaze haven't lost this season. It's almost like they don't know how to lose. Certainly in the Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy, they didn't lose any of their group games in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. The only game they've lost is the final of the Charlotte Edwards Cup this season. And they are a side that have a winning habit. Can they get over the line, the finishing line, the winning line here? They need 2 wickets, 2 batters on naught. Freya Davies and Kalia Moore. Here comes Ballinger kicking up her heels again, delivering back in towards the stumps. It was played off the back foot by the tall Davis, who had to stoop down to dig it out.
Wicket maiden from Grace Ballinger there.
What a time to bowl it. 4 needed to win. 2 wickets for the Blaze.
Yeah.
Not a bad game, this cricket, is it?
It's not, no. It will be skipper Kirsty Gordon to bowl the next one as well.
Well, I was almost going to ask you after the wicket, would you stick with Gordon or would you go back to de Klerk here? The skipper's decided this is my job.
I think I would stick with Kirsty Gordon. I think it's shown on this pitch. As soon as you take the pace off the ball, the batter has to do all the work. So a bit of pressure on number 9 and number 10 to come in and score
She's
them
turned
runs.
a couple big. Can she turn this one big? It's dug out by Moore, who all of a sudden, having lost McDonald Gay and looked very tentative herself, Moore has probably got to be the senior partner here and get her team over the finishing line. It's not easy against the Blaze. A thrilling game of cricket. Bryce was leaving that one because it was, even though it passed, almost past the stumps, it was spinning back towards them. It's tense. It's very, very tense. Here comes Gordon again. Third ball of the over. It's a third dot of the over, turning past the outside edge. 4 to win, 155 for 8. 2 wickets needed for the Blaze. Davies, Gregory and Moore have to get South East Stars the win now. Moore inside edges it down to Ballinger. One more taken, 156 for 8. I think the Blaze know that the probability is against them, but at this precise moment, they're sort of not acting like it. 3 to win.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to show that fight, haven't you? Because you can easily let it slip away. Bowl a bad ball or bowl a wide or something. But
Davis takes guard. 28 for 3 from 9 overs, including 4 maidens. She did her job with the ball. Can she do it with the bat? Looks to drive, slips off the face. Crucial bit of fielding here by Teresa Graves, the top scorer for the Blaze with 56. And she just about prevents a single. There was no need for Stars to try and scamper it. They've got loads of overs. 16 more. 16 including this one to be precise. Appeal for caught behind. Didn't seem to be a lot of bat involved. It seemed to go to the slip off the gloves of Bryce from my angle. 156 for 8. 3 for victory. We've got 15 overs left. That's not a problem. 2 wickets needed for the Blaze. It's a thrilling finish.
It is. A few desperate cries in appeals there. But I think it was more desperation rather than knowing if they were actually wickets. But Grace Ballinger back again to bowl another over. Her and Kirsty Gordon have had a really good bowling partnership the last few overs.
They have. They've just dragged the Blaze. They've just almost made the Blaze believe here at a time where they shouldn't have been believing. And by contrast, the South East Stars have won 4, lost 4. So they have a very mixed record this season, even though they're third. Well taken by Sarah Bryce outside the off stump there. And if they lose this one, of course, it tips that balance of it's dead even at the moment, 4 from 4, the record, but it'll go 4 from 5. It'll go in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
There's pressure on. Moore on strike. Has just the one run, which was squeezed off Gordon behind square on the leg side. Almost through the legs of Moore, that shot. Defends this one from the crease, manages to get her hands high despite being a diminutive figure and stay on top of the ball. Paige Schofield's spell of 10 overs, 25 for 1 with 4 maidens was also crucial in the first half of this game. As we mentioned, the 3 wickets for 28 from Davis, who's stranded at the non-strikers at the moment. Moore didn't even bowl.
Oh.
And there's a wide. It's a harsh wide, but probably a correct wide. 157 for 8. 2 more needed for victory.
2 more needed. I think a few of the girls were a bit unhappy with that decision, but
just slipped out, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it probably was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just always feels harsh
it does,
at this stage when there's so few runs on the board.
Exactly.
So it's either going to be 2 runs or 2 wickets. There'll be a big cheer from the Stars in the pavilion if they get this. It, again, just skips off the surface. Moore having to be so careful, but it's leading to tentativeness. It's tense here. More and more of you tuning our way just to see the conclusion of this game. Do make sure you hit the thumbs up button. A thrilling conclusion. even though we're on reduced overs, they won't come into play. It's either 2 runs or 2 wickets. Number 9 facing, number 10 at the non-strikers, number 11 waiting nervously in the pavilion. Ballinger bowls outside the off stump, taken by Bryce. Applause from the keeper, Sarah Bryce, and also from all of the Blaze fielders. The field is a slip, a gully. A fielder at third, who maybe with 2 to win, could be brought up. Backward point, cover, extra cover, mid-off. And then there's mid-on, a shortish mid-wicket, and I think long leg, although I can't see. They're obscured by Munro.
I don't
if they
think
are
there
there.
is.
No, there isn't. You're right. In comes Ballinger. Bowls. It's off the edge, and it's stopped
Brilliant
superbly
stop
by Kirk, again in the gully, who took a great catch in the previous over, and that stop might have been as crucial as either her run out or her catch. She gets a high 5 from Catherine Bryce, who came all the way over from backward point. Georgie Boyce gave the same encouragement. She's at slip. Seven on the offside then, 2 on the leg as Ballinger bowls, just trying to slide it across almost, which is counterintuitive to her nature, and is maybe why the wide slipped out in that over, because she is trying to push it across now.
Yeah.
The batters, rather than bring the ball back in as she usually would. 157 for 8. That means there's 2 to win, and there's 2 wickets required to win for the Blaze. Beth Harmer, you're part of this squad. You must be quite nervous.
Yeah, I am. I think it's also good to be quite real as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a realist, you know. Freya Davies played for England.
She did.
You know.
But she wasn't picked for her batting.
No, you are right. Callie has scored numerous 50s this year, so you know.
It's almost nothing to lose for the Blaze.
It's
here.
nothing
Would you
to lose,
be more nervous if you were the Stars?
No.
You're not a nervous type.
I don't think so. I think how easy.
I'm trying to build this.
Sorry. No, I just think how easy is it to get a few little edges.
Well, we will see. We're
Yeah.
about to find out. Gordon, bowling to Davis. Defends off the middle of the bat into the offside. Bowler comes and picks up. No run. It just dribbled away.
But obviously that comes with confidence as well. So if you're confident in your batting, then you are going to feel better. But batting at 9 and 10, you might not be feeling that.
Indeed. That'll be the fear that Gordon tries to play on. Davis goes back into a crease. I can tell from here she's got a grin on her face. And mainly because Kirsty Gordon is trying to tease her and tempt her and has a grin on her face. Really enjoyable conclusion to this game. 2 needed for the Stars to win. 2 wickets needed for the Blaze to win. It's cut away, and that will be the winning runs. It's going to go all the way for 4, and Davis just waited for the right ball that had the room outside the off stump. Gordon knocks the bail off in frustration, the defeated captain. 2 wickets. The South East Stars win by in what turned into a really tight game.
Yeah.
The Blaze were in it at the end of the power play, having taken 3 wickets for 30 runs, but they just couldn't reduce the Stars to the 60 for 6 mark, where they found themselves in their innings. Teresa Graves rebuilding superbly with 56. If you are leaving us, do make sure you join us again on another day for more cricket from the Blaze. We have one more fixture before a break. But Beth Harmer, your thoughts on that? Because ultimately it was the innings of Tasman Brits, 85, that saw the South East Stars to victory here, even though it got nervy again at the end and they only did it by 2 wickets.
Yeah, I think full credit to the Blaze girls for making it go that far. I think to get a strong South East Stars side 8 down in the 35th over, I think is an excellent effort. But as you said, full credit goes to Tasman Brits for that superb knock. Could have been very different if we'd have got her early on, but she's proved herself today, and clearly a very, very good player.
You'll hear the applause in the distance for the players who are shaking hands with each other and the umpires. As I say, do make sure you come back for more thrilling Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy cricket. We will endeavour to sort of up the game on the outground streaming as well, so you're sort of not stuck looking at my face in particular here and and just get the voice. But just to run you through the card then to finish with, as we say, the Blaze innings, they were bowled out for 159 in 46.2 overs. That left a revised target of 159 to win. So 1 run was knocked off the target essentially because it would have been 160. The mainstay of the Blaze innings was the 56 from Teresa Graves. There was also a 3 wickets for 28 of 9 overs from Freya Davies. McDonald Gay also picked 25 for 2. I think it's worth mentioning Paige Schofield's figures: 10 overs, 4 maidens, 25 for 1. So that left the chase for the Southeast Stars at 158. As we say, Tasmin Brits was the mainstay of it. She came to the wicket, though, after a couple of dismissals for the opening batters out in the same over. Kirk running out Stonehouse superbly with a direct hit from backward point for 9. Then Chatley was caught in slip by Georgie Boyce off the bowling of Grace Ballinger for 1. Bryony Smith then found herself LBW to Kirsty Gordon for 5. That left the Southeast Stars in a spot of bother with the score at 30 for 3 from 9.2 overs. But Tasmin Brits went on to make 85. She was helped along the way by Alice Davidson Richards, who made 20 before being LBW to Catherine Bryce. Blinkhorn Jones was bowled by Munro for 2. Schofield made 17 before being caught off a top edge by Marie Kelly off the bowling of Kirsty Gordon. Then Britt was out with just a handful of runs remaining. 5 of them to be precise. She made 85 in the end, did Tasmin Brits, off the back of 100 in the previous game. She was caught by Kirsty Gordon off the bowling of Grace Ballinger for that 85 off 63 balls in 100 minutes. She hit 10 fours and 3 sixes. A magnificent innings and ultimately what decided the game. McDonald Gay was out for 5, caught by Kirk off the bowling of Ballinger, faced 26 balls for that 5, and Freya Davies had to come out and hit a 4 to win the game. Moore was also not out on 1. So the result goes in favour of the Southeast Stars, but only just. I mean, they've done it with so many overs to spare due to the brilliance of Brits that they may well actually, on run rate, pick up a bonus point. We will calculate that shortly. It will either take them, though, to 23 or 24 points into up in chasing the Central Sparks, who are in second place. The Blaze still at the top with 32 points. This their first defeat of the season, though. They lose to the Southeast Stars by 2 wickets. We will be with you again on the stream shortly. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.